your attention. You're watching Yes.
Anthony Volpe celebrated his 24th birthday by doubling in a run last night as the Yankees made a late comeback bid. The shortstop has been swinging the bat very well of late, and he'll look to stay locked in as the New York Yankees battle the Baltimore Orioles on a Tuesday night at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. I'm Nancy Newman. Tonight marks game 2 of this 3-game set at the Orioles, with the Yankees looking to even the score. And who better than to hand the ball to than a moundsman who has been lights out of late? Let's get right to the starting pitching matchup. For the Orioles, it's the season debut for the veteran righty Kyle Gibson, who had a solid 2024 with St. Louis. He rejoined the Orioles on a minor league deal during spring training. For the Yankees, it will be Carlos Rodon, and he's coming off back-to-back wins. And the big southpaw has been so good of late. He did not allow an earned run in either of his last 2 starts. And last time out, he joined Max Fried as the second Yankee starter to complete 7 innings this season when he scattered 4 hits against the Cleveland Guardians. Rodon has been difficult to hit, period. Opponents are batting just .163 against him, which ranks number 1 in the American League. He's also struck out 8 in 4 consecutive starts. The K's have been there all year. Rodon ranks 2nd in the American League in strikeouts, and he can easily retake first place tonight. Rodon is currently striking out 31.5% of the hitters he faces, and that would be his best mark since 2022. After his last start against the Guardians, Rodon talked about what was working.
The changeup early was good, kind of opened up the slider late, threw some decent sinkers for some contact, and like I said, defensively, the boys picked me up, and, they helped me get through 7.
Second straight, very solid outing for you. Just how validating have the last 2 starts been for you?
Yeah, it builds confidence, I feel like I was right there. I just want to keep going, just keep winning games and going as deep as I can.
You've wanted to go deeper in games before. How satisfying was today?
Yeah, it's a start. I like it. Efficient, relying on the defense. Our defense is so good. I mean, just let them catch the ball and get the outs and keep going.
Do you feel like you've been building to this point? Do you feel like it's been getting incrementally better?
Yeah, I feel like rough couple starts in the beginning. If I look back and reflect, there's a couple pitches I want back in those starts early on, and then I feel like this stuff was there, and it's kind of ticked up here since it's gotten warmer, and just trying to keep growing and becoming a better pitcher throughout the season.
Trent Grisham is coming off another good night at the plate, knocking a pair of singles in the series opener last night. It was his 5th multi-hit performance of the season, already matching his total from last year. He'll bat leadoff tonight with Ben Rice hitting 3rd. In our Toyota quote of the day, Skipper Boone talked about the impact both are making in the top of the lineup.
2 guys I want in there and up, and yeah, both guys just obviously done a great job here early, and just yeah, I feel like I did that the other day with them, and just kind of keeping with that theme.
I guess really Bellinger's kind of been scuffling at times at the plate. Do you feel like you need to move someone else behind Judge more permanently? You had at Bellinger a lot of times.
Well, I mean, Judge has done pretty well so far, so look, I mean, it can always be a fluid situation, and trying to get guys on track, and so felt like Belly had some good at-bats last night with the hit and the walk, and I thought he had a good at-bat where he hit the ball sharp to second against the lefty, so hopefully, a little sign of him getting going a little bit, and but he's certainly feel like he will over time.
Especially getting guys going. Have you found it at all difficult trying to balance the outfield and who you're playing on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, especially days like we got facing a righty, like there's a guy you want in there that has to sit that day. So today, Jason's out of the lineup. Yesterday it was Rice. I've had Belly out of there some, Grish out. So just kind of, which, I mean, it's a good problem to have because you want guys in the lineup, especially in certain situations. But hopefully that's served us well, is keeping guys fresh and sharp as well, though.
Coming up on the end of the month, what would you say are your biggest takeaways on what you learned going into spring training? A lot of people said this team's better than last year's. I know you don't know in a month, but what are your big takeaways, concerns, what you're happy about so far?
Incomplete. I feel like we've got off to a decent start, record-wise, and feel like nothing's changed in my mind as far as what I think our potential is, and I think we have the potential to be a great team. We're not there yet, and obviously we have a long way to go. So I don't think anything's been, dissuade me or necessarily affirm me. I feel confident that we have the potential of a good team, but it's just that it's early. It's 1 month of a long season, and we always got things we got to get better, and you're always trying to get guys. There's always going to be guys that are off to a little bit of a slow start, and you want to get them going, and hopefully over time you start adding guys to the mix as you get guys back from injury and guys come into play more, and hopefully helps round out your club. DJ had a cortisone shot in his hip today. Really just kind of preemptively, that's the thing he's dealt with a little bit in the past. Felt a little something maybe coming on, so just wanted to knock it out because, again, wanting to be proactive and knowing he needs this to go, wants this to go really well, and his build up and everything. So it's probably going to cost him a couple days here, and hopefully he's back in there Thursday or Friday.
Here now, the Yankees lineup that Skipper Boone will go with tonight. As mentioned, Grisham leads off, followed by Aaron Judge and his .405 batting average. Anthony Volpe bats 7th, and he drove in his 18th run of the season yesterday. That leads all American League shortstops. Speaking of shortstops, after reaching base twice last night, Gunnar Henderson bats 3rd for the Orioles. He had a delayed start to his season, but he's been better of late. However, with Rodon on the mound, it is worth noting that his career OPS is more than 200 points lower against lefties than it is against righties. We're just getting started here on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. Coming up next, Joe Girardi joins us from Baltimore. We'll get his take on all things Yankees, including Rodon, Volpe, Judge, and more. Stay with us on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
Yankees batting practice today is presented by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today.
Welcome back to Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. As promised, our Joe Girardi joins us now from Baltimore. And Joe, Carlos Rodon gets the ball for the Yankees tonight. He's looking to build on back-to-back dominant starts. His 163 batting average against, that is best in the American League. How would you describe Rodon's evolution in pinstripes?
Well, I think the evolution probably started in 2023 when he got here. Before that, he was pretty much four-seamer slider, but he's added the curveball, he's added the changeup, and I think the changeup has made a big difference for him because it gives him one breaking ball going into right-handers and one that's going away, and he had a really good one in Cleveland. And I give the catching staff and Carlos a lot of credit because they knew he had a good one, and it was the most he's thrown it all year long, about 22%. And if we go back to 2023, he was only throwing his changeup about 4% of the time, and it's over 15%. And when he has a good one, he's going to throw it a lot.
Yeah, he's been all business and fun to watch. How about Anthony Volpe? He hit an RBI double and scored in the Yankees' 8th inning rally last night. He's broken out of that offensive drought. He is 6 for 14 in his last 4 games. What about where he's at in his game stands out to you?
Well, what I've been impressed about is the RBI total that he has. He has 17, 18 RBIs, and the thing that he's using the whole field again. He gets in trouble when I feel like that front hip flies a little early and he's trying to pull the baseball. And he went through a period where he was getting beat by some fastballs, so I think he felt that he had to speed it up. And I think he's gotten back on track, and you're seeing him drive the ball to all fields, gap to gap, home run to right field, a double to right center, a double to left center. He looks really good at the plate again.
Joe, how about a little moment for Captain Time? 2 more hits for Aaron Judge last night. His .405 batting average, that's an MLB best. He's #1 in OBP, slugging, OPS. I'll go ahead and say it. Wow. What would you like to say about the captain?
Yeah, when you think that he can't get any better, he finds a way to do it, and he's done it through his average this year. And if you go back to really early May last year, I mean, he's almost hit 400 through that, 6 months, which is absolutely incredible. He struggled really a lot in the month of April last year. He did manage to have 15 RBIs, and I was like, man, I wish that could have been my struggles, 15 RBIs in a month that I'm really struggling. But, I mean, he has been on a tear since last May, and he looks so good at the plate. I think he's staying closed. He's closed off his stance, and he stays closed, and he's able to drive the ball everywhere, and he's staying on breaking balls. He's been absolutely incredible. I mean, he's got an on-base percentage of almost 500. I mean, that's like numbers that you see on a video game.
Unbelievable. He just keeps getting better. Okay, and meanwhile, this point, too, around the majors, let's talk about the Dodgers for a moment. They're experiencing some significant pitching woes, mostly due to injuries to several big-name starters, Glasnow, Snell, Kershaw, etc. They've already had to lean heavily on the bullpen. How concerning is this long-term for the Dodgers?
Well, I don't think it's too concerning because when you look at Glasnow and Snell, I think you're going to expect to get them back. You're getting Gosselin back. I mean, they seem to have a plethora of starters. And, obviously they have a very high payroll. They went out and got Sasaki. They got Yamamoto last year. Dustin May is back. And all of a sudden, Tony Gosselin's coming back. So you're really only missing one spot. And those are 4 pretty good starters to be maybe not at the top of the, the pecking order with it, not having Snell and Glasnow. So I don't think too many teams are going to feel sorry for him. They have the second best record in baseball. They're tied with San Francisco. They're both 19-10. The Mets are a little bit better, but they have so much depth. It's incredible. But I got to believe the cupboard's getting a little bit thin, so they can't really afford too many more injuries.
That sounds like truth. Thank you, Joe. Always great visiting with you. We will see you alongside Michael and David for the call of the game. Coming up next on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi, we go from a former Yankees big-time catcher to the Bombers' current catcher. We put the spotlight on Austin Wells. Stay with us.
This is a magical place. There's no other way of saying it.
Renaissance helps me learn better and gives me more opportunities to do new and different stuff.
I always say walking through this building on a Saturday is like putting on a wedding. There's something going on in every corner. Coding classes. There's dance rooms. As you go down the hall, there's a drum room, there's a guitar room, there's a keyboard room. It's so much happening. It's a mega fest of activities.
You walk through the front door and you don't expect the amount of energy. You don't expect the number of kids. You don't expect the amount of different rooms where there is creativity and innovation taking place.
You can get to know the Yankees neighborhood on the series Bronx Beat. The Season 3 premiere featuring the Renaissance Youth Center is available to stream now on the Gotham Sports app. It is so great to have you with us on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. Last night, Austin Wells brought the Yankees within a run in the 8th inning when he drilled an RBI double. With 4 doubles in his last 4 games, he is heating up at the plate. And after an impressive rookie year, he continues to make an impact.
Austin's a stud, man. He is tremendous presence to him. He's always had that. He's just got a way about him that can connect with people. He earns the respect of guys that have been here and done that.
Line drive going back and reaching up. It is gone. A home run for Austin Wells, and what a start to the 2025 season for the New York Yankees. Hey now.
But we really saw him emerge not only behind the plate last year, where he's turned into an outstanding defensive catcher.
Corner goes, pitch is high, throw to second, got him. Good throw by Wells, and they gun down Horner for the final out.
Expect him to be a leader, a key to our team for a number of years now.
High ball left field. They've done it again. 4 first-inning home runs, and the Yankees lead 4-0.
Yeah, I think it's amazing what the job Boldy's done. Obviously physically, but I think also probably even more so mentally, the way he's able to digest information and manage personalities.
Look at that.
I love it.
Well, wearing a do-rag because he's catching Marcus today.
You get right into it with your starting pitcher. That's beautiful.
Just do all the work that is required of being a catcher, I think.
Being the starting catcher for the New York Yankees is definitely very special, something that I don't take lightly. There's been a lot of big time winning starting catchers in the New York Yankees history, and I would love to be a part of that group.
Austin Wells, what a story. Opening day leadoff home run, getting that in franchise history. First catcher with a leadoff home run on opening day Major League history. This young age, and again, he seems ready for any moment.
Ground ball and through for a base hit. Chisholm will score easily. Good at bat for Wells, an RBI single, and the Yankees are on the board.
And Austin Wells, perfect placement through the hole on the right side. Yankees are on the board.
Wells and I have been together for a while. He's awesome. We gel together, which I need that when he's behind the dish. He's a little bit of a wild card sometimes, but he's awesome.
Wells rips one and into right field. Took the helmet off of Jazz Chisholm Jr. Wells going for 2. The throw comes to first, and the Yankees have runners on second and third, and 1 out.
Wow, you talk about a good swing and just a rifle down the line.
This guy's got a lot of power. He's got really good idea of what the strike zone is. He doesn't chase, and you want to see that dangerous bat in the lineup every day.
Yeah, Austin is he's found ways to get better each and every year.
Snap throw to first. Got him.
But this is a kid we believed in from day one. We knew that he kind of had the intangibles, had the mindset to, and the aptitude to grow and to grow fast, and he's really flourished.
Drilled deep to right field. Fair ball. Another home run. 3 in the inning. Yankees pouring it on.
That was a loud line drive there. Austin Wells.
The Yankee way to me is, doing your job and doing whatever it takes to win.
Looking out to left field. See ya. A home run the other way for Wells. Showing Oppo power. 4-0 Yanks.
Going out there and wanting to do everything for your teammates and wanting to do your job so that you don't let your teammates down and that you guys can win, that's what the Yankee way means to me, and I think that's what a lot of the guys also feel.
That double last night was Wells' 11th extra base hit of the season, and it gave him an RBI in 4 straight games. If he can drive a run in tonight, it would tie his career high of 5 in a row. And Wells has enjoyed hitting at Camden yards. His OPS is close to 900 over his first 7 games at the ballpark. Let us take one last break here on Yankees batting practice today, presented by Audi. We will be back to wrap things up as we move closer to the start of Game 2 between the Yankees and the Orioles here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Conversation is back. Tune in for the latest episodes, including an interview with Yankees top prospect George Lombard Jr. They're available now on the Gotham Sports app. Let us take a quick check of the injury report brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. As you heard earlier, DJ LeMahieu received a cortisone shot in his hip today, something Aaron Boone called preemptive. He's slated to resume his rehab assignment later this week. The Orioles may have won Game 1 of this series, but the Yankees could be set up for success tonight. In addition to having Carlos Rodon on the mound and a red-hot Aaron Judge in the lineup, the Orioles have won back-to-back games just once this season. The Yankees will try to keep it that way. Here are some other keys to the game brought to you by your local Kia dealers. The Yankees lead the majors in OPS, and Oswaldo Cabrera has helped with that. Among Major League third basemen, he ranks 3rd in on-base percentage. On the other side, offense has been an issue for the Orioles, who have the worst run differential in the American League. But Gunnar Henderson continues to do well against the Yankees. After tonight, it's one more game in Baltimore for the Yankees, and then coverage begins at 6 p.m. on Prime. After an off day on Thursday, before the Bombers are back in the Bronx, it'll be a 3-game set against the AL East opponent. The Tampa Bay Rays are in town for 3. Then the San Diego Padres arrive for the back end of the homestand. That does it for this edition of Yankees Batting Practice Today, presented by Audi. Our next BPTV comes your way Friday at 6 p.m. Right now, our game day coverage rolls on. It is game 2 of a 3-game set at the Baltimore Orioles. Carlos Rodon gets the ball for the Yankees, looking to lead his side right back into the win column. We've set the scene. It is that time to hand off to the very best pregame in the business. You know it. It's next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Enjoy your game day.
It is another beautiful night for a ball game as Yankees fans try to turn this ballpark into a home away from home. The Bombers made a late run in the series opener, so now Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the Bats will look to finish the job tonight. Aaron Boone is getting warmed up for Game 2 in the Inner Harbor, as is Cody Bellinger. Is he ready to deliver the big blow? We'll find out tonight in another American League East clash as the New York Yankees take on the Baltimore Orioles on a Tuesday night at Camden Yards in Maryland. And we certainly hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, Jack Curry with you. Middle game of this 3-game series. Nice little run late for the Yankees offensively to get to within 4-3. That's as far as they got. We're going into Game 2. What's your Hyundai opening comment?
Yeah, you look at this matchup tonight, Carlos Rodon against the Orioles, and it looks like a great matchup on paper. Rodon, the left-handed pitcher, coming off 2 wins in a row, 13 scoreless innings. He's been throwing the ball great all year, but his last 2 outings, he's really been locked in. And then you look at Baltimore, a 491 OPS against left-handed pitching this year. That's worse than Major League Baseball. And then you throw on top of it Gunnar Henderson, one of their young stars, a left-handed hitter, in his career batting under 220 against left-handed pitching. It looks like a great matchup on paper, Jack, but we know you don't win the matchups on paper.
There's no greater security blanket for a manager than to know his starting pitcher is going to go out there and give him X. And across the last 2 starts, X has been very positive for Carlos Rodon. So pitch to pitch, batter to batter, inning to inning, Boone wants to see Rodon to continue marching on, go through inning after inning. The Orioles, after a win this year, they're 1-9. They're not used to having 2-game losing streaks, so Rodon will try and make sure that that trend continues, and the Yankees are hoping that he can give them a big lift and be that consistent starter they need him to be.
Well, let's find out what's happening at Camden Yards right now. Meredith Marakovitz standing by with the Clubhouse Report presented by your local Ford stores. Meredith, let's start with the lineup. Any changes tonight with veteran Kyle Gibson on the mound for the O's?
Bob, there is a little bit of a tweak to the lineup. Ben Rice is back in there. He'll bat third behind Aaron Judge. He will DH. Trent Grisham remains in that leadoff spot. Cody Bellinger slides down to 5 in the order. Also noteworthy, Oswaldo Cabrera is back in there at third base. As far as the outfield is concerned, it's going to be Bellinger in left, Grisham in center, Aaron Judge in right, making Jason Dominguez the odd man out tonight. I asked Aaron Boone how difficult it has been on a daily basis deciding who's in and who's out of that outfield.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, especially days like we got facing a righty, like there's a guy you want in there that has to sit that day. So today, like, you know, Jason's out of the lineup. Yesterday it was Rice. You know, I've had Belly out of there some, Grish out. So just kind of, which, I mean, it's a good problem to have because you want guys in the lineup, especially in certain situations. But, you know, hopefully that's served us well, is keeping guys fresh and sharp as well, though.
And you look at Cody Bellinger's numbers on this season. He's been scuffling as a whole. Probably the hottest Yankees hitter during spring training, but it has not translated here to the regular season. You see the numbers right there. Just 2 home runs, 13 RBIs on the season, 24 strikeouts, and just 11 for 73 against right-handed pitching. Meanwhile, Jason Dominguez hitting .323 against right-handed pitching. Earlier, I asked Aaron Boone what he's been seeing from Cody Bellinger at the plate.
I feel like he's, you know, there's been again, you know, he had the back, so he missed a couple of days. It's so early. I mean, it really is. Like, I know we lean on that a lot, but it is, and it's hitting. hitting's failing, right? So we can go through our team, we can go through every team. There's really good players out there that get off to a slow April. Like it's just, you know, like fast forward to next year, we'll be having the same conversation probably about a couple other really good players. So, you know, there's probably a couple of at-bats in there where it's like, man, he's putting together a good at-bat, probably left the strike zone on a 3-2 count or something, or put a ball in play maybe he shouldn't have, which is, you know, part of one of his strengths is his bat to ball and his ability to put the ball in play. So sometimes he probably feels like he can do a little more with different pitch. So just making sure he's selective. Again, I thought last night he had some good at-bats, and, you know, and coming off a really good spring where he's hitting the ball really well, so he'll get there.
Slow is definitely not the word you would describe Aaron Judge's start to this season with. 405 average, second best slug in the league. And according to Aaron Boone, he's not even fully hitting his stride yet.
I think he's continued to become a better hitter. And I say this, I'm not being cute or funny. Honestly, I don't think he's really been that hot yet. Honestly, he's getting his hits, and I think it's a credit to just how great he is. But, you know, when he gets really going, he starts hitting balls in the seat routinely, then, you know, buckle up. So he's every year he's always wanting to, how can I get a little bit better? And I think he's just a more well-rounded hitter, which probably makes him more viable when you go through those inevitable lulls, even for him.
And you wonder what it is going to look like if Aaron Boone doesn't think that this is really going, what that is exactly going to look like for Aaron Judge, who has had such a great start to the season. Meanwhile, Carlos Rodon, you guys already touched on it. Last 2 times out, he looked really solid. Just 1 unearned run over a combined 13 innings of work. He also struck out 17 batters along the way. I asked Aaron Boone what the common thread was for Rodon over those last 2 starts, what he noticed from him on the mound.
Not much different. I feel like those outings that, you know, were noisy, it was a pitch. It was a 3-run homer in back-to-back outings. But I feel like really from jump, he's been throwing the ball really well. You know, the walks are a little higher, but like you said, he was better with that last time. I feel like the stuff's been really good. I feel like as it's warmed up a little bit, we saw more velocity, more of the ability to really step on fastballs when he's needed to. So I like where he's at. I really like how he's throwing the ball, and, you know, feel good every time, you know, we take the field behind him that, you know, we got a chance to win that day.
And while the Yankees would like to see Rodon go deep in the game, their bullpen is in pretty good shape, and that is in part due to Ryan Yarbrough and the performance he had yesterday. 3 2/3 scoreless innings coming in that 4th inning after Will Warren exited. Also, you saw Devin Williams on the mound yesterday in the 8th inning. The Yankees were extremely encouraged by what they saw from him. Yes, just 1 outing, but it looked like he was more confident in his fastball. He also had a better changeup, more depth to that pitch as well. They are hoping that he could build off of that performance. Finally, we get to our Morgan & Morgan injury report, and that brings us to DJ LeMahieu. Aaron Boone said at the end of his press conference that he had a precautionary cortisone shot in his hip. He's dealt with some hip issues in the past, felt a little something coming on, so he decided to get ahead of it. It'll keep him out a couple days, but Aaron Boone doesn't think it is anything that is going to keep him out all that long. He's expected to continue that rehab assignment. He has been hitting pretty well, feeling pretty well overall. No timetable as far as when they have to make a decision or when they expect to have to make a decision on DJ LeMahieu. And guys, before I send it back to you, fun afternoon here in Baltimore. The next BP All Access is coming your way on the 16th of May, but we got ahead of it here. A little Mayor on the Move, Baltimore style, cracking crabs with nobody other than Maryland residents Ken Singleton and his son Dante. We had a great time. That is going to be the Mayor on the Move. That'll be during watching that May 16th episode of BP All Access. And guys, you know, a couple lookouts were involved, and Kenny made sure that I promised to tell you guys all. He says hello, and of course he misses you.
And please pass that along as well. Singy always looking good, even when he's holding the Blue Crabs there in Maryland. Good stuff, Meredith. Thanks, and we will see you in just a bit with Michael, David, and Joe. All season long here on Yes, we want to invite you viewers to show us the different ways you support the Bronx Bombers. Use the QR code on screen with the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and post pictures to social media that reflect your love for the Yankees. We might spotlight you in a future game. Pinstripe Pride is brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Well, Trent Grisham had 2 more hits last night, and Aaron Judge is batting north of 400. Coming up next on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, we'll break down the Yankees lineup for Game 2 of the series against the Orioles. So keep it here on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is presented by FanDuel. All FanDuel customers can make every dinger on Tuesdays mean more with a profit boost from FanDuel. Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
The Gotham Sports app is your new home for streaming live Yankees games and so much more. Free with your eligible TV provider subscription. Download the Gotham Sports app now or visit GothamSports.com to get streaming. Here's the Yankees lineup brought to you by Toyota. Yankees leaving 9 men on base in the opener last night. Jazz Chisholm Jr. 5 for 14 off Kyle Gibson. A double, a triple, and a homer. Aaron Judge is 1 for 10 against him with 4 Ks, but of course he's been tearing the cover off the ball, and his on-base streak is at 25 games and counting. And then Anthony Volpe is 18 runs batted in, lead all American League shortstops. So Ben Rice back in there in that 3rd spot at DH, and then now in what's becoming a more familiar spot in the 4-hole, Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, it seems like everything's starting to settle in with Aaron Boone and his lineup, and Goldschmidt hitting cleanup is the perfect spot for him. And I could not be more impressed with what Goldschmidt has done this year. And the ultimate for a major league hitter is to replicate at-bats 4 times a night. When I watch Goldschmidt go about his business, he gives himself a chance on every swing, every at-bat, by going right back up the middle the other way. And it all starts with Goldschmidt with his setup. He gets tall. He has the barrel of the bat pointing down his back. And what that does is it gives him a little bit of a taller setup where he gets to see the baseball with his eyes. Then he kind of gets into his swing and gets that front foot down. And the approach is the knob of the bat to the middle of the field, and the bat head is just going to follow. It's almost like he's setting himself up to drive the ball to right center field. If he's a little bit early, the bat head gets out, and he pounds the ball to left center field. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, he's a cleanup hitter. He's a power hitter. He hasn't hit the home runs yet. That is going to come. We saw last night a line drive right back up the middle. We saw the deep fly ball to center field that Mullins robbed him of a home run. It's only a matter of time if he keeps this approach, this same setup, and the same mentality that I'm going to do the same thing 4 at-bats every night, and at the end of the year, my numbers are going to be right where you want them to be.
You talked about Boone's lineup kind of getting a little more settled, and it was settled in a way with either Ben Rice or Paul Goldschmidt in the leadoff spot, but now it's still kind of the same thing, even with Trent Grisham up there.
Yeah, Trent Grisham has forced his way into more playing time. He's got 7 home runs already this season. He's got 19 hits. Guys, he didn't get his 19th hit until the middle of July last season. John just broke down Goldschmidt's at-bat. That's the physical side of things. Trent Grisham has spoken multiple times this season about his mental approach. I think last season he thought he was going to play more. He didn't get those at-bats, and he focused in 2025 on coming in and saying, well, first of all, I'm going to try and get more at-bats, but second of all, whatever my role is, I'm going to make sure I'm ready. He has absolutely been ready. One other noticeable thing about the lineup tonight, it's not Bellinger behind Judge, as you said, Bob. It's right. So while Bellinger struggles, it is a subtle move that Boone made, pushing him down in the lineup.
See if that can spur some things. Again, they had traffic last night with 9 men left on base. Let's check the Orioles starting lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Mullins and Laureano back in the lineup. They each had 2 hits in the opener last night. Gunnar Henderson, as Flash mentioned, just a .224 hitter right now, but over his last 4, he's batting .313 with a .353 OBP and a .438 slug. Well, let's step aside again on the FanDuel Yankees pregame, but when we come back, we'll tell you what's been working for Carlos Rodon. back-to-back wins. 7 innings without an earned run last time out. We talk about the lefty next.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Cadillac. Spring is the season for new beginnings, and it's the best time to get behind the wheel of a sophisticated new Cadillac SUV. Visit your Tri-State Cadillac dealer today. The Yankees pregame in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
Hey Yankees fans, I'm News 12's meteorologist Julian Seawrights with your game day forecast. So the Yankees are on the road in Baltimore once again, and it is a toasty one for the guys in pinstripes. We're looking for warm and breezy conditions, summer-like in the middle 80s, and then by the 7th and end of game, we're expecting those temperatures into the upper 70s. Now, the moodcast is going to be on the comfy end for the overnight hours as we're into the upper 60s, but tell us what's your mood and share with us at News 12 The Bronx. And of course, enjoy the game. Back to you.
Thanks, Julian. Carlos Rodon making his 200th career start tonight in Baltimore. 3rd straight road start, Jack. And if we go back to, he was pitching well at George M. Steinbrenner Field.
Yes, 6 scoreless innings in this one. There was some early traffic on the bases. But as always, Rodon has made himself a more complete pitcher, so he has different weapons to go to. When he first got to the Yankees, it was all about the four-seamer and the slider. But now, as we watch these highlights, we're going to see him feature his entire arsenal. The slider is still obviously true for him. Batters hitting 122 against that pitch. And I think as long as he can continue to be that more complete, more diverse pitcher, he's going to get a lot of that in the dugout.
And then he follows that up with a start in Cleveland. Flash, you were there, 7 innings, did not allow an earned run.
Yeah, and the one common denominator, he had a little trouble in the first inning and worked his way out of it. And then after that, he just cruised. The slider down and in. He's got the curveball that he can have go the other way, away from a righty. The changeup has been a weapon. And he's such a different pitcher. When he first showed up in pinstripes, it was high fastballs, low sliders. Now he's unpredictable. Now he has the high velocity because it's warmed up a little bit. And last outing, only 2 walks and 8 strikeouts.
We're cooking up something special courtesy of Hexglad, where we see the opponent average for Rodon just 163. That's 1st in the American League. He's 2nd in strikeouts, 4th in strikeout percentage, and 8th in ground ball percentage. Now, Jack, I guess the one thing in looking at the past 2 starts, maybe cleaning up some of the walks, that sort of thing for him.
Right, we've talked about the fact that he seems to have that one bad pitch or that one bad inning. Well, sometimes that occurs because you are your own worst enemy. The last start, only 2 walks. The start against Tampa Bay, as you talked about, Bob, there were 4 walks. I think Rodon is at his best when he's in attack mode. He's aggressive. He has confidence in his stuff, and he makes sure that he shows batters he's not just throwing his secondary pitches to throw them. He's throwing them because he believes he can get outs with the changeup. He can get outs with the curveball. I actually thought the changeup in his last start was terrific.
His counterpart tonight, Kyle Gibson, the veteran, signed by the Orioles on March 21st. So through 3 minor league starts, his arsenal comes your way courtesy of StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. Another kitchen sink kind of guy. Flash, 6 different pitches.
Yeah, Bob, this guy's been doing it a long time. His 13th major league season. And when you see the pitch arsenal there and the breakdown, what jumps out at you? The sweeper, the changeups, that low batting average against. But again, we talked about this last night with Sagano. There's not a lot of velocity there, about 92 miles an hour. He does it with hitting spots, changing speeds, getting you to be a little bit too aggressive. We'll see if the Yankees lineup can kind of wait for him to make a mistake. It's his first start of the season. Is he going to put a little pressure on himself that he's got to come into Baltimore and be the savior? I don't think so. This guy knows exactly what his game plan is. He's been doing it a long time.
He'll be making his 14th career start against the Yankees. One last break on the FanDuel Yankees pregame. Jack and Flash give us their keys to the game next. So stick around on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com. The Yankees pregame show on Yes is brought to you in part by EEP Law. Counsel that cares. Results that matter.
It's time for the pregame odds segment presented by FanDuel. It's game 2 in Baltimore, with the Bombers looking to bounce back after last night's comeback bid came up just short. For a same-game parlay, we're going with Austin Wells to hit a dinger, Aaron Judge to record at least 2 total bases, and Carlos Rodon to strike out 5 or more. That parlay comes in at $9.64. All FanDuel customers can make every dinger on Tuesdays mean more with a profit boost from FanDuel.
This is quite literally a flashback to a game August 16, 2003 at Camden Yards. John Flaherty, not 1 but 2 homers.
Well, the first one off of Pat Henkin, and I hit that one pretty well. I thought it had a chance. This next home run, Bob, that we're going to watch is what we talked about on last night's pregame show. What a great place to hit, because I did not hit this fly ball very well at all. You can see I'm looking at it saying, please get up, get out of there, and it did. A 2-home run game where I had my younger brother and 15 of his college and high school friends out in the right center field bleachers. So when I hit both of those home runs, I was able to give a little bit of love out to the right center field bleachers. And then I got pinch hit at the end of that game. Joe Torre put up Ruben Sierra to hit for me, my 4th at bat. Probably the greatest move the Hall of Fame manager has ever done.
And your brother and his buddies, just a nice quiet golf clap for you?
No, they were a little fired up out there. College age, you can imagine what they were doing in the bleachers and right center. That was a fun night.
And you wonder, with the winds blowing 10 to 20 miles an hour tonight, could we see balls fly out tonight? Because, Jack, that they moved those dimensions back in some.
Yeah, it's a different ballpark from what we've seen from 22 to 24. I love seeing the old dimension, and I love seeing Flash go around the bases there. The fact that Joe Torre did lift you, he was going for the win at that point, but there is a part of you and everyone who was cheering from your family and friends. Give the guy the at-bat. Come on.
No, I actually said, nice move, Joe. You got to make that move in a big spot.
How about a home run call tonight for your key to the game?
My key to the game is Jazz Chisholm against Gibson. And Jazz has been struggling. We all know that. Had 3 strikeouts last night. And as a hitter, you want a little bit of a history. Well, he has good numbers against Gibson. And he actually hit for the cycle against him. So my pick to click tonight, Jazz Chisholm.
My key goes back to pitching. Started the show talking about Carlos Rodon. I want to end the show talking about who's going to get the outs at the end of the game. If Rodon can give the Yankees that solid 6 or 7 innings, you've got Leiter Jr., Cruz, and Weaver ready to go. Their numbers have been terrific this year. Weaver in 14 innings has not allowed a run.
My key is tossing it to Camden Yards. Michael Kay, David Cohn, Joe Girardi with the call, Meredith reporting. We look forward to seeing you on the postgame. Enjoy Game 2 coming up next on Yes and the Gotham Sports app.
Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
It is another beautiful day here in Baltimore, and it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Baltimore Orioles in the middle game of a 3-game set from Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with David Cohn and Joe Girardi. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees fell behind early last night 4-0, and they tried to come back, fell a little bit short, losing the first game 4-3, so they'll try to even things up tonight. We'll take a look at the Home Depot getting it done pitching matchup. Kyle Gibson signed with the Orioles late in March. This is his first game of the year. He gets the start. And for the Yankees, it's Carlos Rodon. We call it the getting it done pitching matchup, and Carlos Rodon has been getting it done.
Well, he is. He's a true left-handed power guy, but he's evolving into much more than that. We used to just see 4-seamers at the top of the zone and breaking balls down, and he certainly still has that power arsenal, but he also has a 2-seamer and a changeup that's really much improved. So he's gone from a 2-pitch pitcher to really a 4- and 5-pitch pitcher, and it's served him well and will continue to do so moving forward.
Well, the last 2 starts have been great. At Tampa Bay, 6 innings, 2 hits. At Cleveland, 7 innings, 4 hits. He did not allow a run in either of those games. Now, the Oriole offense has struggled for the early part of the season. Yesterday, they came alive just a bit, but one guy who's been hot from the very start, and a guy that Rodon has to deal with, is the center fielder Cedric Mullins.
People have almost forgotten that he had 30 home runs in 2021 and was an all-star. but he's made a number of adjustments after a couple down years at the home plate, hitting a changeup there up the middle, hitting a sinker inside. He's done a really good job of pulling the ball and getting in the air, and he's always been a really, really good center fielder that goes back and has the ability to rob home runs. He's been a plus outs above average his whole career, and he's playing great.
In the American League, second in on-base percentage, fifth in slugging, second in OPS, tied for fifth in RBIs. And oh, by the way, this is his walk year. He'll be a free agent after the season, so a good time to have a big year. Well, the Yankees wanted to improve their defense during the offseason. They've done that. Up the middle, they have sparkled. The Keystone Combo, the center fielder, and of course, the catcher. They've all done great. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, next. In part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com. By Bet365, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. By Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. And by Hyundai. With a brand new Hyundai, there's joy in every journey. Take a look at the Inner Harbor here in Baltimore, and then we move right into Camden Yards. Beautiful ballpark here in Baltimore. The Orioles have taken the field. We'll take a look now at the Yankees starting lineup. It's Grisham, Judge, and Rice at the top. Middle third, Goldschmidt, Bellinger, and Chisholm. And the bottom third, the shortstop Anthony Volpe, catcher Austin Wells, and the third baseman Oswaldo Cabrera, with Carlos Rodon getting the start for the Yankees.
And they will face this veteran right-hander, Kyle Gibson. He's been around the block a little bit. You see last year with St. Louis, 30 starts, and that's what he does. He posts up the average ERA, a little around league average or below, and that has a lot of value when you think about today's game and all the injuries. And we'll tell you a little bit more in our Nissan Pitchers Scouting Report. Season number 13, signed with the O's a few days before opening day, built up in the minors. He answers the bell. Major league leading 315th start since 2014. That's value. But Yankees are doing damage against him in his career, a 5.78 ERA, although he did beat them last year with the Cardinals in 7 innings and 1 earned run.
Let's take a look at the defense behind him. Carlson in left, Mullins in center, Laureano is over and right. In the infield, it's Urias, Henderson, Mateo, and Emmanuel Rivera plays first today. Adley Rutschman behind the plate, Mountcastle the DH, and the veteran Kyle Gibson is on the mound. While the Yankees continue to make room for Trent Grisham today, it's Jason Dominguez who will start the game on the bench despite a right-hander being on the mound, and that's going to happen. It's Bellinger is going to get a rest, or Dominguez is going to get a rest, because they want Trent Grisham to play, especially when he's as hot as he is. Grisham's ready. Gibson's ready. And let's do it here in Baltimore. Pitch is lower underway. Ryan Addington, the home plate umpire. Lance Barksdale at first, Will Little at second. Ryan Wills is over at third. High fly ball, right field and deep. Laureano turns, looks, see ya, he's done it again. Red hot Trent Grisham gives the Yankees a run.
His 8th home run of the year, his 6th off a right-hander. So it hasn't just been right-handers that he's been hitting. He's been doing a lot of damage, and it looked like he got a cutter, a little spinner, that he tried to throw up and in on him, and he got to. And he's been so good at pulling the ball this year, getting the ball in the air. He's got a really short swing, and if you miss a little bit out over the plate, he can do a lot of damage.
Third leadoff home run for him, 6th leadoff home run for the Yankees this season. Here's Aaron Judge. High fly ball, right field. Laureano back, track, wall, see ya. Yankees open up with back-to-back blasts. They lead 2-0.
Well, Aaron Judge jumped on that sinker, and that was another pitch that was up in the zone, Cody. And he had went 53 at-bats without a road home run. Well, he ended that streak in a hurry, and that's number 9 for him.
Loud noises at Camden Yards so far.
Kyle's like, maybe I should have taken one more start. He's had 3 starts, and he's not really that built up. I would think that he would get to around 80, 85 pitches tonight. this rate, he's not going to get too far.
And chase him out of the strike zone in a hurry.
There's Ben Rice. Trying to make it 3 in a row, 0-1. Ninth home run for Judge, 29th run batted in. Driven out to right field. Laureano back, turning, looking. See ya. Nope, they say stay in. No, it is gone. A home run. So back to back to back by the Yankees. They're up 3-0.
The only difference, we've seen this once before this year, is it took 5 pitches instead of 3. I mean, that's the only difference. And it's really amazing. You think about, they had 10 hits last night, but they didn't hit the ball at the ballpark, and they lost 4-3. Goldie hit one out, but Cedric Mullins brought it back. But, wow, what a great start for the Yankees after losing a tough game yesterday where they had to fight back and made it close. Ben Rice, it's good to see him swinging the bat good again.
I wish we had a camera in the truck right now with our producer and director trying to cue up highlights. Which one first? Which one we can't? We don't have time for replays.
4, anyone? Number 4? What the hell?
5 pitches, 3 left the yard, so Adley Rutschman has just caught 2 pitches. The 0-1 to Goldschmidt.
That's the Yogi story, right?
Yep. Well, I don't know what he has. I haven't caught it yet. One and 2.
Yeah, Kyle's one of those guys that's not going to overpower you. He has to do it on command, kind of like Sugano last night. He doesn't have the split, but he has 5 or 6 different pitches, and that was a pretty good sweeper, which has been a really effective pitch for him over the last couple of years.
Ground ball, shortstop Henderson. And there's the first out.
Well, you look at this cutter, it's a little spinner, a little cement mixer, Coney, and catcher reached back across. He knew he had it too right away. Dropped the bat.
It's a little Paul O'Neill, right? That look down after the homer.
Yeah. Sometimes Paul would keep his head down so long he didn't know. Here's a sinker that he's trying to go down and away, and that ends up belt high, and that ends up in the right field porch for home run number 2.
There's Bellinger. 1-0.
Coney, what does it do for starting pitcher when you're the road team and you go out and have a little lead in the beginning before you even get out there?
Oh, wow. Yes. Keep batting, boys. Go ahead. Bat around.
I think the Grisham blast might have reached Utah Street, and that's not an every game occurrence. One. High drive, right field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run for Bellinger. 4 bombs by the Yankees.
Well, that would make you shake your head a little bit as you see Kyle Gibson shaking his head, and that's a fastball that's up and in that Cody got to. I mean, a really good swing, and he's starting to pick it up a little bit. He's been on base 4 out of the last 5 games multiple times, and big hit here. I mean, it's a bat that they need to get going. He has not hit right-handers very well this year, but left-handers he's been crushing, and he got on top of that heater.
Got all our analysts back at Sanford going through the historical records right now. And has this ever happened before? 4 in the first inning?
Yeah, I think in game 2 against Milwaukee.
4 in the first inning.
I believe that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, here's Ben Rice as he's trying to throw him that sinker, that front hip sinker, leaks across the plate, and that's what happens to it. Used to joke there'd be a fight at the bat rack in games like this, right?
Hey, if you're out in the Orioles bullpen right now too, you're thinking, uh-oh. Just got my cup of coffee. Do I got to get up right now?
Well, the one thing that hasn't happened is he hasn't thrown a lot of pitches. He's only thrown 14 pitches.
So his pitch count's in good shape.
Very good shape.
Well, that's part of the problem, as you mentioned, you know, coming in. He's not fully built up, so he's thinking, I got to throw a lot of strikes. I got to control my pitch count.
Yeah, it looked like something happened to Jazz. I wonder if it's rib cage? Where he did get hit the other day in the cheek, and you wonder if, yeah, it's looking like it's his rib cage. And from history of those, you usually don't. That's a no-no. Like, a lot of times managers won't let players continue on.
Just getting out of the way too.
Yeah.
Didn't even swing.
Probably all the jumping up and down in the dugout from all the home runs. This always scares you as a manager. It's like when a guy feels something in his elbow, and I know that's a much more serious injury, that you don't want them to hurt it worse. And yeah, you can see him grab it there on the first swing. He's trying to throw that four-seamer up. He throws a lot more four-seamers to left-handed hitters than he does right-handers, because left-handed hitters like the ball down, right-handed hitters like the ball up. And you can see the bench, man. There's a lot of excitement. There are three of the culprits right there, right together in a little triangle.
Line drive. It is a base hit down the right field line. Grisham or Chisholm is glad that he stayed in the game. He has a double. He's looking for three. He's going to go for three, and he will make it with a triple.
You know, it almost looked like Coney. He took a little bit easier of a swing right there. Hit that ball in the corner. Laureano had a hard time coming up with it, and I don't know. He might be hurt a little bit worse than he's letting on.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be it for him. Down the line, though, he's going to end his game on a triple. And, of course, you hit a triple, you got to run the bases and then dive into third when you've got sort of something going on.
Yeah, you can see it's hurting him right there. And then he knows he's got a for sure double. Really good job of base running by him, by not relying on the third base coach, by putting his head on a swivel and watching Laureano field that ball. When he saw him fumble it, he knew he was going to get the third easy.
And the head first slide, if there's something wrong with his side, probably didn't do it any favor. So he comes off, and Pablo Reyes will come in and pinch run at third. You can see he's a bit concerned as he will head to the clubhouse. Drew French came out to talk with Gibson, the pitching coach for the Orioles.
And if you notice, he dove a little bit more on his right side, which is the side that's bothering him. It's on the front side when he's hitting. Yeah, he's definitely, that is irritated.
It is Peraza who comes in, not Reyes. So Peraza will take over. And here's Volpe with the infield in. So it's the 11th time in Major League history a team led off a game with 3 home runs. Last time it happened way back on March 29th, the Yankees against the Brewers. It was Goldschmidt, Bellinger, and Judge off Nestor Cortez. Yankees are the first team ever to do it twice in the same season.
It's not even a month apart. The Dodgers took the home run lead yesterday going up. They have 46. The Yankees had 45. They changed that in a hurry.
2-0 on Volpe. And a strike. Volpe has 18 ribbies. He sees Peraza at third with the infield in. So Peraza will take over at second for Chisholm. Line drive, it is a base hit down the left field line. Peraza scores easily. Volpe going to second. They'll stop there with an RBI double. And the Yankees lead 5-0.
Well, the common theme amongst these hits and the balls that are hit really hard is everything's been up. This is a hanging breaking ball. He threw him a two-seamer to get back in the count 2-0, and this is just a hanging breaking ball. This is waist high, backs up a little bit, and it's an easy ball for Volpe to get in the air. His 19th RBI of the year and his 9th double. Boy, he gets everything he can behind it, doesn't he?
It's a good sign for Volpe. Hitting some bullets nowadays.
There's Wells up the middle, grabbed there by Henderson. Moving to third is Volpe. Yankees are simply a single away from a team cycle in the first inning. Here's the ninth batter to come to the plate. Oswaldo Cabrera. GM of the Orioles, Mike Elias, not feeling too great right now. And a strike.
Well, Kyle was here in 23 and pitched extremely well for them. He made 33 starts. He was 16-8. And it has not started off so well this year for him. I mean, he's behind the 8 ball with only 3 starts in the minor leagues. Threw an A ball the other day.
How about this about the Yankee home run prowess? In 2025, the Royals have 13 total. The Jays 15 total. The Yankees in the first inning have hit 14. Good buddy Buster Olney tweeted that out. The 0-2. Nub. Third base side. Gibson slips. Fires. Not in time. There's the cycle. Home run, triple, double, single, staying put at third is Volpe.
Well, swinging bunt right off the end of the bat. There's nothing you can do. Gibson's the only one with a chance, and once he slipped, it was over.
Yeah, he just couldn't get anything behind the ball, and he's an excellent fielder. And like you said, he slipped Coney, and that was the end of that. Not too often that I have to cross off the 2 in the top of the second and make it a 1, and then I got to cross off every inning after that. That's a really good job of barehanding the ball and knows he has to hurry. He's lucky he probably didn't hurt something there.
Yes, that's a knee or a groin issue there.
And it's the guy who started it all, Trent Grisham. There is no one warming in the Orioles bullpen.
I have trouble with that word, Joe.
What?
Growing. It's not growing. Nothing's growing. It's growing.
Okay.
Say it for me.
I can't say it, Coney. You got your point across.
Center field. And Mullins puts it away. 7 hits for the Yankees in the first inning. 4 of them left the yard. Grisham. That guy. Then Ben Rice says, let me get some. And then Cody Bellinger sends one into orbit. When it's all said and done, Yankees lead 5-0. People had a duck incoming. 2 home runs went on to Utah Street for the Yankees. Now let's take a look at the Orioles starting lineup that will face Carlos Rodon. Mullins, Rushman, and Henderson at the top. Mountcastle, Laureano, and Urias in the middle. Manuel Rivera plays first. Jorge Mateo at second. Dylan Carlson is in left. You already saw Kyle Gibson. Who had a rough first inning.
And to answer your question, Joe, yes, a 5 spot is the best feeling in the world when you're out there. For Carlos Rodon, he's been solid. Strikes out 45 in 36 innings. He's been good. And seeming to me getting better.
And a strike.
And the Nissan pitcher scouting report, the three-peat, coming up with 2 good ones against Tampa and Cleveland. Good matchup. The O's are kind of struggling offensively up to this point in the year and changing it up. That changeup, he used it a season high 21% last start.
0-2 on Mullins.
It's more fun to pitch with more weapons. It just is. You really get into the craft of your job as opposed to just throwing high 4-seamers and low sliders.
Well, between innings, we lost the cycle. They changed Chisholm's triple to a double and an E9. So the Yankees did not have a cycle in the inning. That's kind of a rough error to give Laureano. I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, it bounced off the wall, and I think he tried to barehand it, and he dropped it. I'm not sure what happened there. Did it break his glove?
I don't know if it went through his glove or it just whiffed it. Yeah, it must have went through the web and hit the umpire.
Oh, right through.
Oh, wow. Hit Austin. Yes, I thought it hit the ump.
Time for a new glove. That's an uncomfortable feeling because your backup is never as broken as the glove that you use, and it feels comfortable on your hand, and you just feel like, oh, I'll catch anything with this one. And then you get that new one that's a little bit stiffer, and you get a little bit worried. Let's see how he does with his new glove. They'll have it fixed in 2 innings, though.
3-2. And the work begins.
It's amazing how good the trainers are at retooling a glove, how quickly they get it done.
Mullins down on strikes, 1 away here in the first. Why don't we check out the Yankee defense? Bellinger in left, Grisham in center, Judge over in right infield, Cabrera, Volpe, Peraza now, and Goldschmidt. Wells behind the plate, Ben Rice the DH, Rodon's on the mound.
It's not always easy for a pitcher to do when you sit for so long to come out and throw strikes. I think in today's world where there's usually a cage in your own clubhouse, you can go throw a little bit, but I used to get worried a lot of times if innings were long and you didn't score a lot of runs, right? What it would do to your starting pitcher.
It's an emotional letdown, that's for sure. I think the older you get, the tougher it gets because it's harder to keep your arm loose sometimes.
One and 2 on Rushman. For Rodon, it's his 200th career start. Comes in at 3-3, 3.50. Historically has not pitched great against the Orioles. 7 games, 6 starts. Has a 5.58 ERA. Did he go? No, he did not. Now, David, 5 runs certainly is far, far from insurmountable. But when you have 5 runs in the first inning, do you still stick with the game plan, or do you pitch a little bit more where you're pounding the zone?
The last thing you want to do is start walking guys, but you still try to, you try to thread that needle between pitching your game, but also realizing get more of the plate and don't walk guys.
Volpe gobbles it up and gets Rushman. It's time for the keys to the game, brought to you by your local Kia dealers.
Well, they changed the first one. It was supposed to be pressed into duty, but they're saying stay away from the long ball because it didn't work out very well for Kyle Gibson. Hook 'em. The Baltimore Orioles off of left-handed breaking balls are hitting .095, which is last in baseball, 108 slug, which is last, and a 49% K, which is all last. And I got cash them in. They had plenty of base runners last night and weren't able to cash in enough. They've done a good job so far tonight.
You're such an honorable guy. Nobody would have known that was your lead note. Stay away from the long ball.
Well, he's definitely been pressed into duty with all the injuries they've had to their rotation to Eflin, Rodriguez, Bradish, Rogers. And I'm sure they would have liked to given him a few more starts, but they need him. And I think they need his presence in the clubhouse as well. He's a real leader.
There's Judge coming on, dives, and he makes the play. Now the second base umpire said he made the play. Henderson staying at first base. He thinks it's a single. Don't know if the Orioles are going to challenge. You decide right here. He made the play. So the Orioles go down in order 1, 2, 3. Rodon likes what he sees. Let's go to the second. 5 same game parlay. There's not one for first inning home runs. Aaron Judge had a first inning home run. He leads off here in the second. You know, we were talking to Aaron Boone about Judge, and, you know, we asked him the question, you think he could hit 400? He kind of looked uncomfortable. He said, I wouldn't put anything by him. He said, but the interesting thing about what he's doing is if you're watching him on a day-to-day basis, he's not locked in. He's not swinging the bat like you know he could swing the bat, and he comes into the game hitting 405. So he said when he starts to get locked in, you can see the balls flying out.
Well, maybe he found the key and locked him up.
He's doing that better every year, not chasing. He's in the top 5 in lowest chase rate. He's also got a above average strikeout rate this year for the first time in a long time.
Which is amazing to me. Someone with so much power doesn't swing and miss. In today's game, that usually goes hand in hand.
Average major league strikeout rate's about 22%. He's under that this year. I mean, he's usually up closer to 30% in strikeouts.
But it's been coming down the last few years as he's got more comfortable with his swing and who he is and how pitchers approach him.
Fish ain't biting anymore as much on those sweepers and sliders off the plate. I mean, he still swings occasionally, but much better every year.
Three and two, so the home run in the first extended his hitting streak to 10 straight and his on-base streak to 26 straight. Now his career high for an on-base streak is 45 from 22 to 23 from the end of the season to the beginning of the next. So he's a ways away from that. 3-2 up the middle, and it's backhanded by Mateo. The throw to first, he gets him. That just missed hitting the second base bag.
Yeah, when things are going your way, that's exactly what happens. It finds the bag. He just missed hitting Kyle Gibson too, but an outstanding play by Mateo, and I'm sure he gets a little weary whenever he goes up the middle like that, because he collided with Gunnar Henderson last year, and he dislocated his elbow, his left elbow, and had to have Tommy John. So it's a little nerve-wracking for me going up the middle like that.
Here's Ben Rice. So Ben Rice hit a home run in the first. He had come into the game after resting yesterday, 3 for his last 20. So he has 7 home runs and 12 runs batted in.
One of the numbers that sticks out to me about Ben Rice too is his on-base percentage against right-handers. Coming into tonight, it was .419. And as your leadoff hitter, you want people on in front of Aaron Judge, and now he's moved to third today. Grisham's done a good job in that spot.
High drive, right field. There it goes. See ya. Another long home run. Rice's second of the night. It is 6-0 Yankees.
I tell you what, I love the way he shows emotion, and he doesn't show it up in a way that shows people up, but he's so happy. He shows his emotions, how happy he is. He's smiling, running around the base. It's almost like a little league kid, you know. You're looking at your parents, and it's so great to see.
So authentic, right? I mean, there's nothing there but an authentic, genuine kid who's having the time of his life.
Goldschmidt takes a strike.
And when we saw this in spring training, and I think some of us were like, okay, is this what it's going to be during the course of the year? He was hitting the ball much harder, a top 10 in all of baseball. And that's exactly, he's just carried it over from spring training. His average exit velocity is just really jumped, and it's great to see. It's like top 5% in baseball.
Yes. The look under the hood matches what you're seeing.
1-2. So 5 home runs for the Yankees against Kyle Gibson. 2 of them by Ben Rice, who now has 8 on the season. Another thing working against Gibson today, he had not pitched in 8 days. So they got his pitch count up to 78. That was his last start at High A Aberdeen. But 8 days rest, first big league start of the year. He's getting roughed up.
He came out of that last start, and I think the next day he had a little back problem, and they were not sure when he was going to be ready.
And Goldschmidt down on strikes, 2-away.
Well, they say if you hang it, you bang it, and that's exactly what he did. This is a ball that's middle, thigh high, and Ben Rice at times has had trouble with some breaking balls, but not that one, and deposits that one into the right field seats again.
Benito finito.
Bellinger visited Utah Street in the first inning.
Look how tight that back elbow stays to his waist. Just drives the through, and the great balance at the end. I mean, he could strike a pose at any point during that swing, and that's when you know your balance is great. And I think it's important in games like this that you keep adding on runs so you don't give the opposing club the feeling that they can come back. Don't just sit on those 5 runs. A good job of putting another one up here in the second.
Grounded to first. Rivera takes it himself, and that will do it. Ben Rice in a minute. 2 home runs, 6-0 Yanks. There's Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. And tonight's pitcher is of Raymond. He's 98 years old, and he went to his first Yankees game in 1936 during Joe DiMaggio's rookie season. And he says his favorite player is Lou Gehrig. Raymond has seen a lot of baseball. Thanks for watching, Raymond. Six 0 Yankees. Mountcastle leads off against Rodon. And a strike. Fly ball down the line. Judge. 1 away.
1936 Yankees are pretty good. They won the World Series that year, beat the Giants. Pretty good way to start out your Yankee fandom, right?
Yeah.
Watch Joe DiMaggio's rookie year and see a World Series.
Here is Ramon Laureano.
You know, I talked about their struggles against left-handers this year. They're 30th in baseball when it comes to the OPS at 491. And they brought Ramon Laureano in.
Nice play by Volpe in the dirt. Scooped up on the backhand by Goldschmidt, 2 away.
To help out with that, as well as Tyler O'Neill. And Tyler O'Neill is on the IL. This is an outstanding play. I mean, I like the back step where he goes back to get the good hop and understands he has a lot of time. And he has a great first baseman and knows how to scoop the baseball, so he knows he doesn't have to get it in the air, just get rid of it. And a really good play by Anthony Volpe.
Skipping rocks.
Yeah.
Here's Ramon Urias. Popped up behind the plate and out of play. Game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. 81 degrees, beautiful night, humidity 42%, the wind 12 miles per hour out of the south. (0-2). Rodon just filling the strike zone.
So far, he's located his 4-seam down and away. A lot of times he throws sinkers over there, but he's located it really well down and kind of sets up his slider.
Swing and a miss. The Orioles go down 1-2-3. Yankees get to bat again. We'll go to the third. On demand, plus stream MLB Network 24/7 for the entire season. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. There's Oswald Peraza to lead off against Gibson. And he grounds it to short. Glove side. Henderson. And he gets Peraza. 1 down. Peraza pinch ran for Jazz Chisholm, who left the game after sliding in the third. Looks like he had some kind of stitch in his side. Even before he took that swing, they decided to keep him in. Hits the ball down the right field line, ends up on third. After the slide, they took him out, and Peraza took over.
I don't ever think I've heard that term, a stitch in the side.
Yep. Here's Volpe. And a strike. Up the middle. Henderson fields and gets Volpe. 2 down.
And that's one thing that Gunnar Henderson does really well. He attacks balls. He comes in a lot of times he's throwing on the run, but he's very aggressive coming in on the baseball, and that's the only way you're going to get Volpe on that. Something that he's used to doing.
4 assists for Henderson so far. 2 outs into the third.
You know what's amazing about the game of baseball? I looked at the numbers of this group of hitters for the Yankees against Kyle Gibson. 15 for 83 with a 181 average and a 597 OPS. Not very good. They changed that all around in 1 inning.
Skied the other way, down the left field line. In the seats, foul.
That's some deep weeds research. You got your binder with you again tonight?
I always have the binder, Tony. They used to make fun of me about the binder.
Binder Joe.
Yeah.
Still on Twitter. Girardi's binder. My favorite follow.
0-2.
I don't have my binder with me. It's in the hotel room. Now everything's on the computer.
You've got your laptop, though.
Oh, it's right here.
It's gone digital.
Yeah, it's a digital binder. The 0-2. 1-2.
But even with all that information, I still like to write everything down because it helps me remember it. So usually my lineup card is a mess.
That's kind of a question I've always wanted to ask you, and I remembered it. Recency. You know, you've been a manager not too long ago, and then in today's game, how much of it is scripted for a manager? How much leeway do you have to make decisions? In other words, trust your eyes as opposed to follow sort of, not a script, but, you know, all the information that you're given before games.
Well, I think all the information that you're given gives you a roadmap on how to manage the game, is what it does. And it doesn't always go according to plan. It usually doesn't.
Swung on and missed. Ball gets away from Rushman. Wells will go to first, but the out is made to
get back to that.
Yankees go down in order against Gibson on 7 pitches. Rodon had a 7-pitch inning as well.
Camden Yards, a lot of happy Yankees fans so far in this one as the Yankees lead the Orioles 6-0 as we head to the bottom of the third, including these two little guys. How cute is this? If they look familiar, that is because they are the sons of Carlos Rodon and Garrett Cole. Bill Rodon and Caden Cole on the same T-ball team. They just had their first game the other day. I asked Carlos how it went, and he said he hit some rockets. Now, no exit velocity in T-ball, so I don't think we can confirm that, but I know they both love baseball. They both love the Yankees, and I'm sure they're both tuning in right now. Like fathers, like sons, guys.
Now, unfortunately, it's T-ball, so neither of them get the pitch, but that'll come.
Not yet.
That'll come.
Adorable.
A couple of right-handed aces right there. So you were asking me, and I was saying that all the information is a roadmap on how to manage the game, and sometimes you have to change things up a little just because of the way the game goes. But and I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Like if your antenna goes up with a pitcher that's going through the lineup the third time, or it's between 75 and 90 pitches, it's telling you be careful right? You know, you got to really watch the swings and watch what's going on in the game to make the decision when to get him up. Now, you got a big lead, you may give a guy a little bit more leeway, and that's where the decision making comes in. But you're trying to win every game, and you try to use the information you have to help you.
It's a fascinating topic of conversation. I mean, Joe Madden recently was quoted, had an article about, you know, coaches not being able to use the eye test, especially defensively. And then after the game, you know, the general manager would say, just play the dots, or the analytics department would say, just follow the script. And he took exception to that because, wait, we've got experienced coaches in the dugout that see things and maybe see a hitter and read the bat and want to move a second baseman. And they're called in afterwards and say, no, just play the dots, play the script. And so that's the battle between the information and the eye test.
Swing and a miss.
And in saying that, like, when you're given like spray charts, it's all pitchers. What do we got here, Coney? A little change up. There it is. Ooh, that's a really, really good one. But not all left-handers are. What do you got on that grip, Coney?
That's really good. You can see the seam orientation is what makes the ball move. Trust the grip, throw it, and then you keep it down, and that's what happens. You get that movement.
But you might have a lefty on your team, and you're comparing him to all the lefties on all the other teams in a sense, and his style of pitching might be different. So to say that I'm going to put this guy because off of all lefties, this is what he does, you might need to make a little adjustment. We used to have to make adjustments with CC. I used to put guys a little bit more on the line and a little bit in because he got a lot of top balls, and sometimes the cutter would be pulled hard down the line. So we moved him where it wasn't necessarily that would be the position against all the other lefties. So it's little tweaks that you have to make in knowing your own players.
Two and two on Mateo.
I was just taking note of where Cabrera's playing third base with Rodon, to your example to CC. Defensively, the Yankees up the middle so strong this year. Rodon throwing that slider down and in. Third base is an important position.
And you think about Max Fried. Max Fried, because he gets so much weak contact, I might not play the third baseman quite as deep because he lives off of that weak contact. And a lot of times you don't have time to make the play. So you might want to make a play in a little bit more off a guy like Max Fried. Sometimes that hurts because the foul tip, it doesn't hit where you're expecting it to hit. It might hit you on the heel of the glove a little bit more, or up on the fingers like that. I got a finger busted like that on a foul tip because it hit the tip of my middle finger and it didn't feel good.
Swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts for Rodon, 3 in a row.
That over and under on the strikeouts today? Yeah, you take the over. He is spot on, sharp. This is what the Yankees envisioned when they signed him to that big free agent contract, a dominant lefty. And he is here.
Dylan Carlson fouls off the first pitch.
You wonder why pitchers hurt their elbows?
Ow.
Snapdragon.
Ow. What would happen to our elbow if we did that right now?
Wow. Have a hard time throwing the first pitch. There's the proof in the pudding. He's a strikeout guy.
2-1. Volpe And Rodon, perfect through 3, 9 up, 9 down. Time for Leaders, brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers against Milwaukee that Saturday. Against their former teammate Nestor Cortez. 4 runs in the first inning, 4 home runs, 9 batters faced. Tonight, 5 runs, 4 home runs, 10 batters faced. 30 pitches on March 29th, 26 tonight. All right, so we get word on Chisholm. He left the game with right flank discomfort. So we've heard stitch and now flank.
It's no longer the rib cage?
Yep, it's flank. My least favorite steak, by the way.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's where the flank steak comes from.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of flank steak.
Really?
I like the flank steak. I do. Au poivre with some fries on the side? Yes.
He's trying that again. He hit that one. His first base hit was a little number down the third baseline. You know, the one thing he's done a really good job is turning the lineup over. He's got over a 360 on base, and that becomes really important because he hits in front of Aaron Judge.
One away here in the 4th as Gibson has settled down just a bit. That'll bring up Trent Grisham. Now we take a look at Coors Light beating the pressure. So slugging leaders in the majors this season, Polanco leads, then it's Judge and Grisham. And Corbin Carroll is 4th. Pretty amazing. Ground ball. Backhanded by Henderson. And he gets Grisham for the second out.
You know, we were talking to Meredith before the game a little bit about that. Grisham, he's got to play. Grisham,
you got to find a place for him to play.
Just the way it is. He's earned it.
And you got to find a place for Rice to play. And Dominguez has been really good against Rice. I mean, they got a number of hitters that they can play and give people days off and spread the DH around. It's actually been a pretty good combination.
One 1-0 on Judge. Judge with his 9th homer of the year in the first inning and then grounded to second. That was in the second. So in the 4th inning, his 3rd at bat. Yankees up 6-0.
Joe, you mentioned Dominguez, and in speaking to Aaron Boone earlier today, that was one that he really kind of debated on back and forth who he should have in there, Cody Bellinger or Jason Dominguez. Dominguez hitting right-handers incredibly well, as you noted, 323 average. Meanwhile, Cody Bellinger struggling at the plate. In general, he did have the home run in the first inning. He had a hit yesterday, but just 11 for 73 against right-handers coming into today. But it's a good luxury to have, trying to decide who you want to put in there on a daily basis.
Yeah, I would love to have a lineup that I had too many hitters. Too many guys swinging the bat well, and you're trying to get them in. That's a definite luxury.
You factor in the defensive side as well, and Grisham in center.
And Judge walks on 4 pitches with 2 outs. But you know that Jason Dominguez was sitting there in the dugout in the first inning. Go, really? This is the day I get off? Really?
Yeah, but there are those days where it's really good hitting for everybody else, and you're the guy that makes the 3 or 4 outs in the game. You're like, how does that happen? He makes all his pitches against you.
So Judge now reached base 2 or more times in 21 of his last 26 games. Here's Rice. He has 2 home runs. Now, he does have a 3 home run game in the major leagues. He did last year against the Red Sox. So he had 7 home runs in 50 games last year. He has 8 in 26 games this year. One and one.
And sometimes you see guys have big spring trainings and it doesn't carry over. It carried over for Ben Rice.
And it was the opposite for Belly. Belly had a great spring training. And and he'll get going. It happens to hitters.
A base hit for Rice. Just a stinking single. He's 3 for 3.
Yeah, it's almost like you're disappointed that he just gets a single.
Well, this is the reason why we keep track of exit velocity, because he hits the ball hard consistently as well as anybody in the big leagues this year. Certainly top 5, and that gets through because of hitting it so well. Harder you hit it, quicker it gets by the infield.
Judge at second. Rice is at first. Goldschmidt at the place. He's 0 for 2. Oh and 1.
Yeah, that sweeper right there was one of his best pitches last year. Probably would consider it his second best pitch behind his changeup, and he threw most of his changeup to left-handers. So for right-handers, that's an important pitch for Kyle Gibson. Coney, what would they have called your breaking ball that you had?
A sweeper.
A sweeper, yeah. You were ahead of your time.
Well, it's interesting. A lot of these guys throwing sweepers are using a two-seam oriented grip, and I always threw my slider with a two-seam grip. And that's why I was so fascinated with the concept of seam shifted wake, because how the seams are oriented, and it gives you a little extra movement at times. You know, it's sort of the difference between observed and real movement. And I would sometimes get some sliders that were up that would still break sharply because of the seam orientation of the two-seam grip.
If you just would have taken more physics classes, you would have understood.
It sort of makes sense to me now. You know, I wish I had some of these high-speed cameras and theories.
There's a base hit up the middle for Goldschmidt. Judge rounds third. He's coming home. The throw is cut off by Henderson. It's an RBI single for Goldschmidt, and it is 7-0 Yanks.
It's like Drew French is going to take a little walk to the mound and give him a little break. Again, Coney, another pitch that's up in the zone. He had thrown him some pretty good sweepers down and away that he had swung through, but again, when you don't have a lot of innings under your belt and you miss most of spring training, it's hard to catch up. And it just looks like his location has been really inconsistent tonight.
Well, Drew French back to the dugout. Still no one throwing in the Oriole bullpen. Their pitching has been a mess. They used the bullpen a lot yesterday. They had to get 12 outs out of the pen. Here's Bellinger. He's 1 for 2. First and second, 2 men out. A little bit high.
And away. A little bit both.
You look up on the scoreboard, if you're Bellinger, and you see now you're hitting 200, and
that's big.
Your OPS is up to 613, and you're digging out of a hole, and you can see the light.
Talk about when you're hitting in the 100s, you're on the interstate, and you're like, man, I got to get off that interstate. Yeah, we see this home run in the slow-mo super shot. I mean, just great extension. Just he stayed behind the baseball. It's so important because Cody's not a guy that really, a lot of guys will go back before they go forward. He just goes forward for the most part. And he was able to stay behind that one.
Taking all the way, 3-1. Peraza on deck. And there's ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Peraza. All this has happened with 2 outs. And now we get some action. Matt Bowman. A rough first start for Kyle Gibson. One and 0. Line drive, it's a base hit to center field. Rice scores. Here comes Goldschmidt. Hill scores a 2-run single for Peraza. And the Yankees are pouring it on. It is 9-0 New York.
Sometimes you're just going to have to wear it out there. And for Kyle Gibson in his first start, no other option but just to own it, wear it. Yankees are just mashing.
Yeah, just a really good swing on a fastball, middle. And what I love, he didn't try to do too much with it. He stayed through the middle of the field. In RBI situations, that's where you want to stay, to the big part of the field, and that's exactly what he did.
Brandon Hyde hearing some boos as he goes out to the mound. And he will take the ball from Kyle Gibson. A rough first start for the 37-year-old veteran right-hander. So the Orioles go to the bullpen. Brought to you in part by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. By your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires. And by Optimum Fiber. Get Optimum, the fastest fiber internet. Don't take slow for an answer. What do you like more, The Wire or The Sopranos, David?
Two of the best shows in the history of television right there.
You know what I like to revisit? I would like to revisit Edgar Allan's pose picture and Washington Irving. Those two guys were 25 right then. People don't look like that anymore. They just don't.
At 25 or?
At 25, they don't look like that. But those guys were dudes back then.
Nevermore.
There's Anthony Volpe. Matt Bowman on the mound, taking over for Gibson. Volpe takes a strike. 12 games, 1.98. First and second, 2 outs.
You would think, with the way he stands, where his front foot lands, it looks like he's throwing it behind the right-handed hitter, that lefties would have a lot more success. That has not been the case. He's a reverse split guy this year. I would not want to hit off of this.
No, I mean, as you're saying, where his window is, by the time he lands there, really crossfires from the extreme right side of the rubber. That's as low and as wide as you're going to see.
I think he's aiming at that tire back there.
I mean, you would think it'd be hard to kind of sling it crossfire like that and have command and get it over the plate enough.
But he's done a really good job for him, and he's kind of a multiple inning guy, not more than like an inning and a third or inning and 2/3, but.
Well, that'll do it. Volpe goes down on strikes. But the Yankees add 3 more runs on 3 hits. They lead 2. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Over Rodon's pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Well, he's dealing. I mean, the ball is darting and dancing. Change-ups. You want it to fade to the left. You want it to go to the right. He's got it both working.
9-0. First pitch, starting off with the slide.
According to my friend Bill Chuck, who's a wizard with numbers, Carlos Rodon now leads the majors with 25 hitless innings this season. And Boone said today before the game, he said, you know, when it looked like he was struggling, you do air quotes, he's made a mistake on a 3-run home run. He said he pitched well in those games, so I never had any doubt about him. Those were just mistakes.
But
The thing that gets me excited about Rodon is he's shown an ability to adapt and change his style of pitching, which is not an easy thing to do, to start to incorporate a changeup more, throw a few more curveballs.
Throw the sinker instead of the four-seamer all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a 5-pitch pitcher now.
I mean, the pronation is different, correct?
Yes.
On the four-seamer and the slider than the other ones.
Strike 3. Mullins down looking.
Aside from the technical aspects of it, it's the buy-in mentally and emotionally. He's fully bought in, and look at this. Darting slider on the black at the knees.
So no chance. I mean, that's the perfect pitch. And the other thing that he does to lefties now is he runs the ball in, so he makes you somewhat uncomfortable, which speeds your bat up, which makes his slider in the away fastball or the away slider look further away to hit it. When people move your feet or they come in, that outside corner looks a little farther away, and he's doing a really good job with mixing his fastball on both sides of the plate and pitching in to right-handers and left-handers.
I guarantee he's having more fun now than he ever has in his career with all these weapons.
Oh, out by Rodon. We're out number 2. Defense in self-defense.
Well, you said you want to be strong up the middle, and there you go. Sometimes the ball just finds you, right?
Yes. It caught him.
Oh, he hit a knuckleball to him, too. See the presence of mind to turn like he was going to throw to first base? That's PFP. That's training pitchers to do the same thing over and over and over.
One and one.
Well, there's that sinker inside, which speed him up a little bit, and it's hard to get to, and you see fastball and you want to swing. See the numbers there, Coney. That's really, really good. And you put the strikeouts with the ground ball, there's not a lot of damage in a game.
That's the trifecta you want right there. Ask Paul O'Neill about left-handers and two-seamers in, how much he enjoyed that.
He's probably having nightmares right now.
Two and two. Three and two on Henderson.
You know, we talk a lot about numbers, you know, spin rates, everything. You know what it really comes down to? It starts with conviction and confidence. Human beings on the mound. It's the same for hitting. It's the same for pitching. You can just see him on the mound, how confident he is right now. How much conviction he has behind every pitch.
Payoff. Fly ball, left field. Bellinger. And that'll do it. 12 up. 12 down for Carlos Rodon. We'll go to the 5th. Now it's time to name that Yankee, brought to you by Prevagen, made for your brain. 91 wins, ERA a bit over 5, 29 complete games, pitched for a lot of teams. A few twice. Name that Yankee. Fouled away, out a scoreboard. Yankees lead 9-0 as we go to the 5th inning. Wells, Cabrera, and Grisham against Matt Bowman.
There were so many teams up there, it was hard for me to even pay attention. Like trying to go over my mind. 2008, 2006, he was with the Yankees.
First year managing, you had him. First year managing with the Yanks.
So was he with Texas first and then he was traded to the Yankees?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
I do now.
All right.
Yeah.
Fly ball, center field.
You see Gunnar Henderson pointing as it's twilight. It's tough to see, and making sure the outfielder sees that baseball. He put his hand right up to point to Cedric Mullins. It's coming to you, Cedric. See the twilight there. That's got to be a horrible feeling when the ball's up and you have no idea where it is. And you're an outfielder and everyone's yelling at you.
Straight panic.
Oh, just make sure it doesn't hit me in the head.
Under the glove of Rivera into right field. Second base hit for Oswaldo Cabrera. So what's worse, Joe? This sky the way it is right now, or the Metrodome roof?
I'm going to say the Metrodome roof. See that ball just get by Emmanuel Rivera. Mountcastle may have had that ball. He's actually a really good first baseman. Hearn with a left-handed glove might have got it. Yeah.
Here's Grisham. He started off the home run derby with a home run in the first inning. Yankees hit 3 straight. If you joined us late, you missed a lot. Grisham, Judge, Rice back to back to back. Then a Goldschmidt ground ball to short, and then Bellinger with a home run. So 4 home runs in the first for the Yanks. Rice added another home run in the second. Oh and 2. One, 2.
Tell you what, he hasn't given Trent anything. He's painted away with the heater, down with the split, and he almost got that call up and away with a fastball. He's got a sweeper as well.
Two.
25 years ago, if you tried to throw this way, this style in the minor leagues, they'd change you right away. They wouldn't let you do it.
Across your body, they're afraid you get hurt?
That extreme, yeah.
Strike 3. Grisham down looking.
Well, there's a fairly large bullpen coach. This ball really never gets back to the plate. Trent has a really, really good eye. Doesn't say anything. You're winning 9-0. Couple inches off the plate, but Mike Harkey threw across his body, and it gave him a great changeup. He had a hard time with the slider, but his changeup was really, really good.
Yeah, good sinker, right? Changeup sinker. He was a pro.
He threw hard though. He threw 96, 97. That size, you better throw hard.
Yeah, he was tough when he first came up.
Now, since coming to the Orioles, Bowman has worked from the extreme third base side of the rubber, so he's 4.43 feet from the center of the mound, giving him the most extreme horizontal release point in the majors. One and 2.
And look where he finishes. He's got a little hop at the end. He's in the grass. He's not even on the dirt when he finishes.
Oscar Acosta, who was a pitching coach here with the Yankees and with the Cubs, and God rest his soul, used to say it looks like he's throwing around the building.
Two and 2. Reliever with the Giants has this kind of similar style, right? It's
one of the Rogers.
No, Walker. I think it's Ryan Walker, but yeah, that's just filthy right there, coming from that angle and ending up right there.
Still 2 and 2.
Like Aaron was just trying to protect against that breaking ball again. He was a little bit late on that fastball. Again, it can't be a comfortable at bat for a right-hander. I know he has reverse splits last year, but they were just the opposite last year, where right-handers didn't touch him. Small sample size.
So the count goes full. That will release Oswaldo Cabrera from first. Cabrera goes way outside. Judge on for the third time tonight. Second walk. Ben Rice, 3 for 3, 2 solo home runs.
Yankees last inning scored 3 runs with 2 outs with nobody on and started a rally. Can they do it again?
Way out in front, 1-1.
Coney, how did you learn all the different arm angles?
Wiffle ball in the backyard as a kid.
So you always had it, even in the minor leagues?
Even in the minor leagues, absolutely. They tried to discourage me from doing it. I think it's one of the reasons I got traded to the Mets from the Royals, because the Royals didn't like that. They wanted me to be over the top and traditional style of pitching. When I got to the Mets, they said, go ahead and do whatever you want.
Just get people out.
Yes.
Foul back.
That was the old Don Zimmer line, right? I would go to Zim. What am I doing wrong? How do I get him out? I don't care how you do it. Just get him out. I don't know what you're doing.
Charlie Morton has been struggling as a starter. He's warming.
Ouch.
And Rice gets plunked on for the 4th time, and he will hobble to first.
Yeah, he got plunked about a week ago on the elbow that kind of slowed him down a little bit. He had to take a few days off. When you get hit in that front elbow, it's really painful. Now you get hit here, top of the calf. I mean, I really believe as a hitter, if you're going to get hit, you want to get hit in your front leg because you want to be able to have weight on your back leg. But, ooh, that's an ouch. You said ouch before it happened.
Yeah.
You were talking about Charlie Morton warming up, but
well, that brings up Goldschmidt with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Is there a flank part in the leg, too? Did he get in the flank of the leg? Or?
Cabrera at third, Judge at second, Rice at first. And a strike.
I mean, Charlie Morton's got to be doing a side, don't you think? I mean, he pitched Saturday, and he's supposed to pitch.
But they have 2 days off coming up.
Yeah.
Thinking about
skipping him?
Yeah, skipping him. He's also dealing with a 10+ ERA.
So he's scheduled to pitch on Friday. And you're right, they have Thursday and Monday off.
So they could skip him if they want.
I don't imagine you could throw him too many pitches, though. I mean, they used an opener for him the last time.
Yes.
Keegan Aiken. Threw 80 pitches on Saturday.
1-2. 2-2. I mean, Bowman is just missing.
If you say so.
Look at Morton's numbers. It just, wow. Don't want to run salt in the wound, but wow.
It's the walks.
Yes.
Line drive, it's a base hit for Goldschmidt. Cabrera scores. Judge will stop at third. Throw comes home. Another RBI single for Goldschmidt. It's 10-0 Yanks.
Yeah, this is just center cut right down the middle, and he's made some good pitches, and this one happens not to be a very good pitch, and Goldschmidt does a really good job of kind of pulling his hands in a little bit, not getting fully extended.
Yankees' 5th game with 10 or more runs this season. They have 2 in the last 3 games.
What a bounce back from Goldschmidt, right? After last year. You get up in your career, you get a little bit older, people start to talk about, oh, he's in a decline phase, skills are diminishing.
Yeah, they really talk about you in the beginning and at the end. In the middle, if you're struggling a little bit and you've got some numbers, they say it'll work its way out.
That one is ripped to right field. It's a base hit for Bellinger, and it's going to go to the wall. Judge scores. Rice scores. Going to second with a 2-run double is Bellinger, and the Yankees lead 12-0.
I mean, the theme of the night is if you get the ball up and you don't get it high enough, it's in the danger zone, and that's what happened right there. Matt Baumann throws this breaking ball. It's a little cutter that's just above the belt. Easy pitch for Cody to pull. It speeds his bat up because it's a little slower than his fastball, and he pulls it in the right field corner.
Well, that's going to do it for Bowman. Brandon Hyde, the manager, will signal to the bullpen. It's been all Yankees. They're up 12-0. Electric Audi vehicle at your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Yeah, first pitch to Trent Grisham is a home run to right field, and the third pitch of the game to Aaron Judge. He hits a homer to right field. They're not done yet. Ben Rice is going to hit the 5th pitch of the game for a home run, and then Cody Bellinger, hitting 5th in the lineup, hits that homer. 4 home runs to right field in the first inning, and the Yankees had a 5-0 lead.
Charlie Morton comes on and deals to Peraza, ball 1. So Morton, a veteran, has always been a really good pitcher. Signed a deal with the Orioles, and it has not worked out in the early going. 41 years old, 18th big league season. Signed a 1-year, $15 million deal with the Orioles in January. Yankees 6 for 9 with runners in scoring position today. Now 6 for 10 as they get Peraza at first. We are halfway through in Baltimore. It's 12-0 Yankees. Well, the Yankees return to Prime tomorrow, take on the Orioles in the series finale. Don't miss a minute of the Yankees beginning at 6, only on Prime. Great balance there, not a drop spill. Go to the bottom of the 5th, Audi scoreboard. Yankees 12-0. Orioles 12 up, 12 down against Rodon. And the first pitch to Mountcastle is a strike. Rodon's had some long innings on the bench. It has not affected him adversely. Quickly 0-2.
So, Coney, you see a guy pull your slider like that, your left-handed in. You try to throw him something running off the plate, thinking that he's looking inside, like a changeup.
Swing.
Yes.
Miss.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you were talking about Zim a little bit earlier, and that was one of the things. He's like, sometimes.
6 Yankee strikeout brought to you by Audi and the 2025 Audi Q6. Visit your local Tri-State Audi dealer today.
Sometimes you don't need to set a pitch up. It's already set up when you're ahead 0-2. I mean, he was looking inside. He threw the first fastball in, and then he pulls that slider. Changeup was set up.
Yes. Don't waste pitches.
Sometimes we get too cute back there.
One and one.
At what point as a manager do you look at the scoreboard and say, yeah, let me give Aaron Judge a rest, or let me, you know, who am I? How are you looking around the field here?
Yeah, I'm looking, you know, it's around the 7th inning. I'm starting to think about it, see what the score is. You don't want to do it too early because he's obviously has more at-bats in the game, and you don't want to, you know, sacrifice his at-bats and what he might be in the game. But about the 7th inning, I'm starting to think about it.
2-2.
Here's the best fastball of the night, 97.
Up the middle, diving stop by Volpe. Gets to his feet, fires, got him. Beautiful play by Volpe.
Rodon looks like he's saying, you're kidding me, right? You made that play? Nice play. Tell you what, as a pitcher, you got to love when you have that strong defense up the middle, which you talked about in the pregame, Michael. How quickly he gets up. He gets a lot behind his throw and gets a speedy Laureano. But he lays out, and look how quick he gets up. Oh, my goodness. And the accuracy on the throw, got him.
It's the finish to that play that was impressive.
Laureano's made 2 outs, both of them to Volpe. He may want to try somebody else.
Soft ground ball. Peraza, 15 in a row. 15 up. 15 down. We go to the 6th inning. It's 12-0 Yanks.
Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. Red Sox in right, top of the first. Jaron Duran leading off with a bullet to right. Red Sox jump out 1-0, but it's all homers for the Red Sox. Alex Bregman later, towering shot to left. That's their second. They have 5 home runs, all 7 of their runs on homers. Boston leading Toronto 7-2 in the 4th. Guys.
Thank you, Bob. Around the majors, Jose Altuve doesn't want to bat leadoff. He needs more time to get to the dugout from left field. Chandler Simpson off to a good start in his career. Rockies 4-24 record this season. Let's talk about the Altuve thing. I ran past some players on the field, and one guy said, oh, okay, so he's not leading off, but what if he leads off in the 4th inning? He's still in left field. Do you buy that he thinks left field is too far to get to a leadoff spot?
Yeah, I understand that. I think it can be uncomfortable for hitters for doing something they've never done before. And it doesn't matter if it completely makes sense. It matters what he feels.
Volpe hits one into right center. Cut off there by Laureano. He fumbles the ball, allowing Volpe to easily get the second, his second double of the night.
So what I'm saying is, if that's what's in his mind, then you got to kind of buy into it. And by the way, he did hit a home run last night, hitting second.
But my point is, okay, so let's say it's 2, 3, 4 coming up in the 4th inning. He's still got to get from left field to lead off that inning.
Yes, but it's guaranteed 1 less per night.
Okay.
It's a guarantee.
I can understand with a catcher leading off. Got to get all the equipment off.
Yeah, that was one of their concerns with Wells on the road, that he'd have to run in from the bullpen and lead off.
And you don't get to warm up the pitcher as long. But catchers are different today. They warm up pitchers a lot longer than we used to do. We used to do like the last 5 minutes. They'll get back there the whole time. Like, what are you doing? I mean, those first few throws are pies, aren't they, Coney?
Yeah, you know me. I didn't want you to see anything. Especially if I didn't like what I was doing. You got to be a psychiatrist too, as a catcher.
So if you're a manager and a player says that to you, even though you might think it's like complete craziness, you would do it just to make them happy.
If I have someone else that I can lead off, if I have someone else can fill that position, because obviously you want players to have a clear mind when they're playing.
Right back to the mound. 1 away.
I was playing in winter ball, and there was a hitter that didn't like hitters or runners stealing bases when he hit. So he was the third hitter in the lineup, and there was a very fast guy hit first and fast guy hit second. He's like, I don't want to hit third. These guys run too much in front of me. I'm like, let me hit third then. I want holes opened up. Like, that won't bother me, but it's what he felt.
There's a strike to Oswaldo Cabrera. He's 2 for 3. Well, the Yankee offense has exploded tonight, and their starting pitcher has been great. Foul back here.
I tell you what, your reads on the foul balls have been really good tonight.
Why?
You haven't moved. I mean, you know, like last night, you stood up right away for the first one that was like the first one of the game, and you were quick up. Tonight, you got a good read on it. Not my ball.
The 0-2. Strike 3. Cabrera down looking. Yankees have hit 5 home runs. We take a look at the Spectrum exit velocity on all 5.
Yeah, and who's the winner? Trent Grisham's the first one of the game, 105.8 miles an hour. You know, and a lot of times in my mind, I think that you have to hit a ball over 100 to get it out. But you see Ben Rice, 96.8. But if you have the perfect launch angle with the velocity off the bat, it goes a long way.
He gets a plaque now, right, out there? On Utah Street.
How many plaques are out there?
We'll look it up.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, there's enough. O'Neill's got one out there.
I know Straw's got one out there.
And O'Neill has one out there, and the plaque they put in, they spelled his name wrong, so they had to replace it.
Oh, that's so good.
I think Ken Griffey's the only guy to hit the warehouse, and that was in a home run batting practice during the All-Star game.
You know, we saw Charlie Morton's ERA is over 10. There's the wall right there where he hit. Goodness gracious. And they were talking about spin rates are the same, velocity's the same. It's been his command. When he makes mistakes, he really makes mistakes, and they've gotten hit hard.
High fly ball, right center. Laureano makes the play. That'll end the inning. 132 balls have been hit onto Utah Street. Well, let's show you how the All-Star.
Yeah, Anthony Volpe, the last inning, makes this diving stop up the middle, and it gets up so quickly and gets rid of it, gets Laureano. Laureano's got to be a little frustrated thinking I had a hit there. Not tonight, young man.
Flashing the gold.
Montefiore Einstein scoreboard, 12-0 Yankees. 62 pitches for Rodon over 5 innings. No walks. No errors for the Yankees. Nobody's been on base for the Orioles. And the pitch to Rivera is inside 1-0. Rivera struck out in the 3rd inning. Bottom 3rd of the order. Two 2-0. Jorge Mateo is on deck. Three 3-0 on Rivera. There's a strike, 3-1. Rivera's just trying to get on base. Took the 3-0 pitch. Now here's the 3-1. Swings at that, fouls it back to the screen. And Rodon has been filling the strike zone from the time he took the mound in the bottom of the 1st inning. And the pitch. Now back. Rodon came into the game 3-3, 3.50, coming off 2 really good starts. 3-2. And he walked him. First base runner for the Orioles. And a derisive cheer from the crowd. That takes care of the perfect game. A leadoff walk to Rivera.
So how early as a pitcher do you start thinking about it?
Oh, he's thinking about it.
No, but I'm saying when you went out for that 6th inning, were you thinking about it?
You're aware of it. You try to put it out of your mind. You start to say it's too early to start thinking about it, but you're thinking about it.
You're pretty demonstrative. Oh, you're thinking about it.
The crowd was thinking about it by their reaction. It's a big difference between doing it at home. The home crowd really anticipates the flow.
Well, it's harder to do a 4-home run game. Next is perfect game. A 6-hit game's easier. No hitters, 326. Triple plays, 739.
Yeah, Suarez had the 4-homer game, and they lost in Arizona the other night. That's mind-boggling to me.
Fly ball right field. Judge back. There's a no-hitter as it's off the wall. Mateo picks up a double. Moving to third is Rivera. And the crowd here at Camden Yards standing and giving Rodon a hand.
Yeah, this is just a fastball that's center cut. And Jorge Mateo has done a really good job off of left-handers during his career. Not so much this year, but he drives this ball to right field over Aaron Judge's head. He's got no chance to catch it. Gets it in quickly enough to hold him to a double. He's got great speed. And he knew he hit that ball well. He posed. And now if you're Carlos, you're saying, okay, give him 1, don't give him 2, and let's get out of this inning.
Dylan Carlson takes low and inside.
Yeah, I think this is a good trip to the mound from Austin Wells, because, you know, when he has struggled a little bit, it's like there's one inning where he loses the strike zone a little bit, and you got to get him back on track. So what gets him back on track? Is it his 4-seamer? Is it his slider? Is it his change? You got to know that to get him back on track here.
It's a great point. Highly emotional pitcher. He feeds off of his emotion. He's a gamer, but sometimes the emotion gets away a little bit. And I can certainly relate to that.
Yeah.
Ground ball, foul outside of first. Of course, the infield back. You're looking for outs. You're up 12-0. Fouled away. And makes the seats just over the screen. The 2-2. Ground ball, third base. Run scores. An RBI for Carlson. More derisive cheers from the Oriole crowd. They're on the board. It's 12-1.
We talked about how good he has been at getting ground balls this year, almost 49%. And that's exactly what he got there. And good numbers when it comes to strikeouts as well. A really good combination.
Runner at third base with one man out. Breaking ball for strike to Mullins.
Rodon's thrown about 14 changeups tonight. The exit velocity on that pitch about 70 miles an hour. So you talk about needing a ground ball, inducing weak contact. It's been a great weapon for him.
He threw a lot opening day, 20%, and then it kind of fell off a little bit, and he kind of started to wrap it back up, and he struggled with it in Tampa because of the sweat. It looked like it was flying out of his hand, but he found it in Cleveland. It's been good again tonight.
Popped up shallow center field. Volpe makes the catch. Bluffing and tagging is Mateo. He's not going anywhere. 2 down.
First major league at bat here, Coney.
Maverick Handley. Great name. Pinch hitting for Rushman.
Matt Blake giving him a little bit of a plan. That's the thing about with all this data that you have now. You actually can get plans on people that are called up right away, where it was a lot harder back in the day. You'd actually have to call maybe the AAA manager or pitching coach and what have you seen. But now everything is recorded, and you can pull up everything. Where he likes the fastball. Does he hit the breaking ball? Does he hit the changeup? Can you go up with the fastball? Will he change? It's amazing the information they have now.
Big brothers everywhere.
Yes.
Handley's 27 years old. This is his major league debut. Called up yesterday when Gary Sanchez went on the IL. Right wrist inflammation. First player in Oriole history to wear number 98. Now, in a spring training game in Bradenton this year, Pirates beat the Orioles at home. So the umpires left that at the top of the ninth. Teams agreed to play the bottom of the ninth anyway, and Handley served as the home plate umpire.
What was his zone like? Do we got a report on that?
Well, he was asked how many calls did you get right. He said 100%. Sixth-round pick in 2019 out of Stanford. Three and one on Maverick Handley.
Looks like he's had that bat for a while. See all the pine tar on that and how dark it is.
First at bat, Joe, are you even like there? Can you calculate anything?
No. The nerves are the butterflies. And I'm sure when he came to the ballpark, he didn't think he was going to play today, because he didn't expect the score to be 12-1 at this point, knowing it being a big, game, the Orioles versus the Yankees. Thought he was probably going to watch today.
Swing and a miss. Handley down on strikes. Well, the Orioles score one. They get their first hit, their first base runner. Mobile coverage cam. Carlos Rodon flirting with a perfect game.
It's all there tonight. See, there's where he lost the perfect game up and away, and there's where he loses the no-hitter back-to-back. But solid effort all the way around as he continues to impress. One of the toughest lefties in the game going right now.
That one's up the middle and grabbed there by Henderson. Knocked down, but he can't handle. That allows Judge to reach. Should be a base hit. Between innings, Rodon is told pretty much his night is over.
Looks like he doesn't want it to be over.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing, right? But I think it's a chance to get him out of this game, save some of his bullets, save some of his pitches. He'll be really strong this next start. It's a long year, and you're going to need him for 32, 33 starts.
Ben Rice rips one to Mateo. They try to double up Judge, so Ben Rice trying to get on base for the 5th time. It's a bullet to Mateo, who makes the catch. So you have Kerstad in left. Carlson moves to center. Reyes takes over for Judge at first. Well, we're talking about spring training, getting that feel right now. Here's Goldschmidt. 2 for 4. Couple of ribbies. Morton still throwing hard, 94 miles an hour, but the location's not there. I've always heard, David, and I'm not saying that Morton's hurt, but when a guy's hurt, usually the team will say, well, the velocity's there. But I've heard that you could be hurt, you could still generate velocity, but it's the location that goes.
I completely agree with that. That the command is the first thing to kind of rear its head. You can't quite finish your pitches. You know, you can still generate arm speed, but the precision's kind of the first thing to go, or the first tell.
And do you probably hold back a little bit, trying to protect whatever is bothering you?
Yeah, sometimes you can find a different slot that doesn't hurt, a little different release point.
You used to look for that every game, didn't you?
Yes, this is the slot where it doesn't hurt. So nowadays you'd be called out because they measure everything, obviously, and your release point is something that pitching analysts, it's one of the first things they look at.
Ground ball and a diving play by Urias. He goes to second. They get the force. Nice play by Urias. Took a base hit away from Goldschmidt.
Dangerous play for Reyes, not sliding.
Yeah, he might be safe, but it is a dangerous play. I mean, to me, that's how you hurt an ankle. And you see it more now, guys doing it more where they go because they think they're going to get there quicker, but it's dangerous.
Bellinger, 1-0.
He looked like he was taken all the way there. Just want to see where Charlie's arm slot is, and then I'm going to go to work.
Makes sense. Get a look. Got a big night going, Bellinger.
See, that's something you wouldn't see Charlie Morton miss with his curveball by that much. And to me, it almost, and you're the pitching guy, the front side flew open, the arm lagged behind. I mean, for years, he had one of the best curveballs in all of baseball.
He's had a heck of a career, really, when you look at the body of his work.
And he was a guy that got much better in his 30s than he was in his 20s.
He really benefited from some of the technology along the way. It kind of grew up before his eyes in his career, and the type of pitches he should throw and pitch design and what he's more effective at doing.
Hammered foul.
Changed from a sinker baller to a lot of four seams up in the zone, kind of what the Houston thing. Pittsburgh was a lot of sinker ball pitchers like him and Cole, and then they got to Houston, they became four seamers at the top of the zone. Really added a lot to his career.
Goldschmidt will go from first. 3-2, 2 outs. And a walk. Now, one thing about Morton, he has always been tough. Game 1 of the 2021 World Series in Houston, pitched the scoreless first inning. Then Yuli Gurriel hit a line drive off his shin to lead off the second. Morton made the play to get the out, hobbled around, turned out to be a fractured right fibula. He stayed in to get the final 2 outs and came back out for the third to strike out Jose Altuve before he left. He threw 16 pitches on a broken leg. That's tough. Drew French comes out to talk. Tonight's injury report brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Jazz Chisholm exited today's game in the first inning. Right flank discomfort.
I'm going to laugh every time I hear that now because I think of Coney talking about what he wants for dinner.
Now, Meredith, there's also some injury news on DJ LeMahieu, right?
He had a cortisone shot in his hip. Aaron Boone saying it was pretty much preventative. It was something that he had in the past and felt a little something coming on. He wanted to get ahead of it, make sure that it wasn't an issue. But, Michael, at the end of the day, he did receive a cortisone shot. He's going to be down a couple of days, and then they expect him to resume that rehab assignment.
It's got to be so frustrating for LeMahieu. You know, I think he had 6 hits and 10 at-bats at Double-A as he started his rehab, and all of a sudden he has to get a cortisone shot in his hip.
Yeah, health has been really difficult for him the last few years.
Slow roller going to be a tough play, and it's going to be a base hit for Peraza. That's his second hit. And the base is loaded for the Yanks.
A wise man used to have a great line for these sorts of things. It's not what you want. A cortisone shot, especially considering, you know, Jazz's injury tonight, where that takes the Yankees, and we'll have to wait and see.
You got a smile out of me, Conan, because they used to make fun of that.
It's a great line. Yeah. It's a great line.
And now when I hear another coach say in an interview, I start laughing. Guy stole my line.
1-1 on Volpe. Volpe has a couple of doubles today. We're in the 7th inning. 12-1 Yankees have the bases loaded. Two and one. Morton is 41 years old, as Ian Hamilton warming up. 18 big league seasons.
2,150 innings coming into. It's a lot of innings.
I was getting life insurance one year. I was getting tested for it, and a lady showed up and asked me to sign an autograph for her son. It was a young pitcher. It was Charlie Morton's mom.
Really?
Wow. Yes. I met him years later, and he told me that story.
Line drive right at Henderson, knocked down though, and everybody's going to be safe. A run will score. Lucky 13 for the Yankees. We'll see how they score that. It was in Henderson's glove. We'll see if they give him an E6. But hit very hard. And it is an E6.
He might have got blinded a little bit by the runner. Yeah. Maybe got distracted.
Yeah, I think you're right, Coney. I mean, it's a good job of base running. You can't run into the ball, obviously. Paul O'Neill used to do that to get Tino a hit, and it could have been knuckling a little bit too. I mean, that's a tough play. That's a tough error.
To finish that story, I failed that physical, Michael. I did not get the life insurance.
And you still gave the ball.
Still signed the ball, though. Charlie's a great guy.
What'd they catch you on the failure?
Well, played the 5th.
What year was this?
This was back in the 90s.
Oh, and you pitched a long time after that.
Yeah. Well, a few more years after that. It was towards the end.
That's really a profile in courage. He pitched without life insurance.
I eventually got it, but she was a very nice lady. Said, my son's a really good pitcher. You know, could you sign an autograph for him? Sure, sure. To Charlie. Here you go, Charlie. Good luck. See you in the big leagues one day. Sure enough, there he is.
1-2. He's known as a very humble guy, too. The Astros met with him as a free agent They offered him a 2-year deal coming off a terrible season in Pittsburgh. And Charlie was incredulous. He said, why would you offer me a 2-year deal? But he pitched well for them. The 2-2, swing and a miss. Wells down on strikes. Yankees get a run. They lead 3. Time for the stretch.
Time for your Ford Studio update. Bob and Jack with you, and a hot start for the Yanks led to a hot start for Carlos Rodon.
Bob, if you would describe offensive perfection, it would be hitting a home run. So the Yankees had 4 of their first 5 hitters do that against Gibson in this game. And if you're going to describe pitching perfection, we all know what that is. Just retire every batter. Rodon did that for the first 5 innings. A great blend and a route for the Yankees tonight.
We will hear from Rodon about some of those home run hitters, Aaron Boone as well, when John Flaherty joins us for the post-game show. We'll see you then.
Thank you, guys. 13-17-0 for the Yanks. 1-1-2 for the Orioles. Rodon, 6 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. First run he's allowed in 3 starts. Yankees have hit their home runs. Kyle Gibson didn't have much. Jorge Mateo with a double, the only hit. Rodon's still out there. You know, we always ask Coney, when do you start thinking about a perfect game, as J.C. Escarra takes over at first. And Pablo Reyes is in right after pinch running for Judge. Well, you caught the perfect game, Joe, so when does the catcher start thinking about it?
I would say the 6th inning was when I started thinking about it. And my thought was we had to face Vlad Guerrero Jr. one more time. That was my thought. If it went according to plan.
He was the one.
Yeah, Vlad Guerrero Sr., excuse me. Because he could hit a ball that was 2 feet off a home plate.
Exactly right. He could hit anything.
You could bounce it, he could hit it.
High drive, right field. And that one is gone. A home run for Henderson. And it's 13-2.
It almost looked like that sinker was in off the plate, and he pulled his hands in. And I think if you're an Orioles fan, it's a good sign, because he's had a hard time getting the ball in the air this year, more than normal. And he's flied out to right, he's flied out to left, and he's homered to right. This is a pretty good pitch. It's not even a strike inside, and he pulls his hands in.
He'd gotten beaten a couple of times in there in the previous at-bats. It looked like he was looking for it.
Well, Boone wanted him to face the lefty Henderson. Henderson hits the home run. That'll do it for Rodon. A really fine start. Now it's time to name that Yankee. Here are the clues. Joe wanted to tell us.
Sidney Ponson, I believe it is.
He was knighted, and tonight he's named that Yankee. Sir Sidney.
He had some really good years with the Baltimore Orioles. And I remember him pitching a big game over at Shea Stadium, beating the Mets after, I don't know if he was released and we got him or we traded for him. And it was like he came over and had a huge start. I don't know if it was in 2006 or 2008.
That's the line on Rodon. His night is complete. Now they turn it over to the bullpen to get the final 9 outs. First up is Ian Hamilton. Deals a ball to Mountcastle. Backhanded by Cabrera, the long throw. And Escarra makes the catch. 1 away. There's Laureano. He's 0 for 2. Last time up, robbed of a base hit. A beautiful diving play by Anthony Volpe.
I smell hot dogs.
Oh, I thought you were cramping again like you did last week at home.
Now I'm hungry.
You're like a bird dog standing up.
Could go for a hot dog right now.
What happened that night that you cramped up?
I don't know. Just not like a sniper got me.
I was sitting on my couch. I was laughing so hard at you.
You know what it was? Is I was down on the the basement level at Yankee Stadium, and I walked up the stairs. There's 4 levels because the elevator was slow, so.
That's all it took?
I think so. I think, you know, did my Stairmaster. Locked up on me a little bit.
So the Yankees left that night for a road trip. So we're waiting on the bus afterward. And Andy Pettit was at the stadium that day, and he was going on the road trip, and he walked by me and said, "What happened in the booth? What happened with Coney?" And I said, "Well, he got a cramp in his leg." And this was his reaction. Coney.
Now, guys, I was worried about our guy, so I tried to have him see the training staff just to make sure he was properly hydrated and ready to go for game 1 of this series. Stretched it out a little bit beforehand.
A lot of fluids,
so
Coney, a lot of fluids.
Some hydration tablets.
I'll tell you what, Meredith. I think he's good to go. He and I walked back to the hotel last night, and he was in good shape. Didn't strain at all.
No, Joe did not walk back. Joe walked back last year when Michael said we were going to get an Uber. We were a block away. He said, no, we'll get it to the next block. Well, the next block. And all of a sudden, we walked like 1.5 miles, and it was like 90 degrees with 75% humidity. And I said, I will not make that mistake again.
Ground ball to short. They'll retire Urias. We'd like you to walk with us tonight, Joe.
No chance.
Please, come on. Please. Come celebrate Star Wars Day at Yankee Stadium on Sunday, May 4th. There'll be appearances by your favorite Star Wars characters, and the first 18,000 guests in attendance receive a Giancarlo Stanton Jedi bobblehead. Tickets are going fast, so get your tickets today at Yankees.com, and may the 4th be with you. Hyundai scoreboard 13-2 Yankees as we go to the 8th inning. Cionel Perez comes on. Deals high.
Has there ever been a Michael K bobblehead yet?
No, they don't have enough plastic.
Low-hanging fruit. 13-2.
I thought I'd do it before you did. Perez struggling early. Strikeout an inning, but 10 walks.
Jackson Holliday, Michael, came in for Gunnar Henderson, and they moved Mateo to short. I find that kind of interesting they wouldn't put Jackson at short.
Well, when he plays, he does play second because they don't want to dislodge Henderson from short. Former first pick in the draft.
Babyface.
He's got a little brother that might be the first pick in the draft this year as well.
And that got him. Well, they haven't waved him to first base yet.
Yeah, Ethan Holliday, the draft will be early June, and he might be that first pick.
The question here is the umpires are going to sort of get together and see if it hit him or not. Yeah, they're pointing to first base now.
And it was the first base umpire, Lance Barksdale, who told the home plate umpire, yes, it did hit him. Yeah, right on the toe.
Do you get to the point, Joe, as a manager, would you challenge in a 13-2 game?
Well, if it didn't, of course, right? Because you're trying to say pitches. Everything counts. I mean, I would imagine they might use a position player in the 9th if the score remains the same. He's telling him he's got to pick up the hitter.
So you want their relievers to throw as many pitches as you can for the residual effect tomorrow's game.
Yeah, and Well, you don't want the hitter to get hit in the foot and then he doesn't get first base and he's limping. I mean, you got to get something for getting hit. I think you always just play the game, right? You don't worry about the score.
Well, Grisham started this offensive outburst with a leadoff home run. One and one.
Excuse me. The Yankees now have 3 guys in their lineup with over 1,000 OPS.
That's a dangerous lineup. You figure if you got one in the 900s and a couple in the 800s, that's a dangerous lineup. And what did you say? The average in the American League last night was 691?
Yeah, in the month of April so far, the average American League hitter.
See, Michael, you knew exactly that wasn't at you. You didn't even move.
Well, that was so far from here. If I moved, you'd have to get me some help.
It wasn't that far. I would say it was one booth over.
Two and two. Now, you mentioned position player pitching. Mateo could be that guy. Pitched an inning of relief. Gave up 5 runs to the Reds on April 20th. Gary Sanchez pitched the next inning and gave up 4 runs. Orioles lost 24-2. 3 and 2.
I mean, the only player they have left on the bench is Ryan O'Hearn. And I don't think he would pitch him. And they do have an off day. I don't think Sir Anthony has worked in a while. You could put him in for the 9th inning.
This could be 2. Nope. It's booted by Holiday. Everybody's safe. One of those nights for the O's. Well, Friday on Yes, the Yankees are back at the Bronx for a showdown with the Rays. Coverage begins at 6 with Audi batting practice in the pregame. Then first pitch is scheduled for shortly after 7 on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. There's Pablo Reyes.
You know, for a team that has been so good the last couple of years, they have won twice in a row, 1 time this year. And this was a chance to be the 2nd after their win last night.
Chopped and inside first and down the right field line. Cabrera scores. Grisham will stop at 3rd. Reyes stops at 1st with an RBI single. It's 14-2 as the Yankees get their 2nd touchdown.
When it rains, it pours. And these type of hits stay fair when you're on the wrong end of a 14-2 game. And the super shot tells you everything you need to know about that swing and this ball.
Excuse me, I found a hole.
So an RBI single for Reyes. Here is Ben Rice.
He's hit 4 rockets tonight. Home run, single, and he lined out to the second baseman last inning.
Also was hit by a pitch, so he has 4 runs scored in the game. He has had a 3-home run game in his career last year against the Red Sox. Has 8 on the year. And he waves through that one as he goes down on strikes.
Yeah, he does have a very good breaking ball. He's a very good fastball, but you talked about it. It's his command. His command has been off this year, and it's always been a little bit suspect. He's a guy that can hit 99, but he's just not comfortable throwing strikes.
J.C. Escarra takes a strike. Took over at first base for Goldschmidt. Paul had another multi-hit night. 2 for 5 with 2 runs scored. Yankees only have 1 position player left on the bench. That's Jason Dominguez. That one gets away as Reyes scoots to second. Grisham stays at third. You know, we were talking to Boone today about the struggles of Jason Dominguez from the right side, and he was very frank about it. He said, listen, what people don't realize, he has not played a lot. He's 21 years old. He's had a lot of injuries in the minor leagues, the COVID year, all that. He said, so he does not have, as Escarra goes down on strikes, he does not have the at-bats that you would normally have. And since there are fewer left-handers in the minor leagues, so there's even fewer at-bats from the right side. He said, that's why I truly believe it's going to happen for him from the right side.
I would agree, because I watch his approach left-handed, his eye left-handed, his ability to hit change-ups, breaking balls, fastballs. He has a quick bat. I believe he's going to hit. He just hasn't, like you said, gotten a lot of reps. And when you have those injuries and you miss substantial period of time, you got to play for a while to even get close to back to where you were.
And he has also said that's one of the reasons for his struggles in the outfield. He said he just has not had the reps. For a guy who's been in the minors, it seems like a long time, he has not played a lot. He missed a whole year with the Tommy John surgery. 1-1.
And it's a completely different read in left field than it is in center field. It's completely different, and you have to learn the slices and the line drives hit at you. I think he's a real exciting prospect, young player that's going to turn out to be a really good player.
Two-1. Lace to left field. Kjerstad is there to retire Bellinger, and that'll do it. Yankees get another run, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 men left. Time for the bullpen budget, brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. Ryan Yarbrough saved the bullpen yesterday. 8 up innings, 53 pitches. Devin Williams finished it out with a strong 8th inning. He threw 14 pitches. Hyundai scoreboard, 14-2 Yankees, bottom of the 8th. Hamilton deals a strike to Rivera. Rivera walked to lead out the 6th inning. That broke up the perfect game. And then he scored later in the inning. That broke up the shutout. 0-2. Brian Baker warming for the Orioles in their pen. Swing and a miss. Kind of a non-competitive at bat there. 1 away. Orioles come in 11-17. Yankees 17-12. The Orioles have played 9 series this year, and they are 1-6-2 in those series.
They won their first series of the year against Toronto.
Yep, nothing since.
Well, the first rule of thumb is you don't want the hole to get too big, right? As soon as you get to 10 games under 500, then you could waste your hot streak to get back to 500. But you have to have hope. And when you have pitching that takes you out of the game early, like they've had so far, that can be demoralizing for a team collectively. There's that woe is me, here we go again. Down in the first inning.
Oh, 2 on Mateo. Mateo had the first hit against Rodon, a double in the 6th. Same swing as Rivera took, and he goes down on strikes. Well, tomorrow, watch the Yankees minor league baseball on Yes as the High A Hudson Valley Renegades take on the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. Coverage starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Jersey Shore is the High A affiliate of the Philadelphia Phillies. So here is Dylan Carlson. Ground ball, backhanded by Cabrera, sets and fires, and Hamilton works a 1, 2, 3 inning in the 8th. Let's go to the 9th. Yankees up by 12. Time for the Optimum Don't Take Slow for an Answer replay.
Well, it didn't take long for the Yankees to get on the board. The first pitch of the game, Grisham goes to right field. The third pitch, Aaron Judge goes, and Ben Rice is going to hit one after him. Belly hits the 4th homer in the first inning, all solos, and Ben Rice does it again in the 3rd inning, his 2nd home run of the night.
50 home runs this season, the most through April in franchise history. I don't know why our Chuck keeps doing this. Why are they superimposing that guy's head on my body? I don't get it. I don't get it. They get one picture of me at the beach. Why, David? Why?
Pecosaurus.
Brian Baker, the new pitcher for the Orioles, as Peraza fouls it off. Another foul ball, 0-2.
Didn't they show you earlier, Michael, like that, earlier in the year?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. 1-2.
I tell you what, I would get mad at pitchers like when they would yell clank on that. When you do it, you know, you throw a backup slider and you're expecting it to go, you know, from left to right from your vantage point as a catcher, and it doesn't really do that, and the pitcher would say clank, and I get so mad.
High fly ball, right field. Now, David, I've always wondered about this. You hear about backup sliders. Can you throw a backup slider on purpose, or is it just an accident?
Most of the time it's an accident. For the vast majority of time, it's an accident. It's sort of the way the seams are oriented and your release point, you don't quite finish it. And you get sort of a backup gyro spin on the ball, and it just kind of sits there or doesn't go right to left. Doesn't break the way it's supposed to.
I played with a young man in Double-A. His name was Steve Parker, and he did it all the time.
On purpose or by accident?
Yes. I mean, for whatever reason, his slider backed up all the time. And I'm like, it's not a slider then.
So that was his pitch?
Yes.
And you couldn't do it on purpose, David?
No.
But you think there are people like Steve Parker that can do it?
He was the only guy that I ever knew that it happened all the time.
Did he make it to the big leagues?
No. Double-A, I believe. Triple-A? Left-hander?
And I would think that's hard to catch because you're not expecting the ball to do that.
Yeah, you're expecting it to, like I said, if it's a left-hander, you're expecting it from a catcher standpoint to go from right to left, and it doesn't, and it's a clank.
Ground ball, Mateo. So let me get this straight. The pitcher who threw the pitch actually yells clank?
Oh, yeah. Or a pitcher on the bench will get on the catchers. Oh, yeah.
Man.
I had this one lefty that I caught when I was with the Yankees. He'd get on us all the time.
Bench jockeying.
Yeah.
From the other side, yes.
You want to give us a name?
He used to look at the ball. You know how a pitcher starts to throw and he stays on home plate? He would look at the ball over his left shoulder.
Right.
And then look back at the plate. I'm like, what? Now, what are your bouncing balls to me?
So, David, do you have any idea who he's talking about?
No.
That's good. I have to give it up.
Talamatzik looks like he'll pitch the ninth.
I would love to see Wellesley check in with a hit here. He's one of the only guys on the team that doesn't have a hit tonight. Might be the only one, and done a masterful job behind home plate.
A fast and reliable connection backed by a 100% U.S.-based workforce. So you get the best customer service experience possible. Spectrum.
And the 3-2. Driven out to left center field. On the run, Kjerstad. See ya! An opposite field home run for Wells. And it's 15-2. Yankees, and he joins the home run party.
And that makes my night because the catchers were 0-4 tonight. JC and Wells. I mean, you can consider Ben Rice a catcher if you want to, but I'm not. And they finally checked in with a hit, and a big hit. His second opposite field home run this year. Hit the one earlier in Tampa. Makes for a good night for him.
That was an old school Camden Yards home run from a lefty the other way. Saw Tino and hit him that way a lot here. Vince is back in.
Oswaldo swings and misses.
Makes his night, and it makes my night. We were talking earlier about, like, I feel like his at-bats are much better than the numbers that he's put up so far. And I think he's really going to hit. Because I love his at-bats, his approach, his eye. He has bat speed.
Ben Rice knows what a home run looks like. Did he get it? Did he get it? Thank you for answering, Ben. Swing and a miss. That'll do it. So the Yankees with 6 home runs. They lead this one 15-2. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Untuckit. Find the perfect fit today at untuckit.com or more than 80 stores worldwide. By Nissan. At Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play. 15-2, 15-19-0 for the Yanks. 2-2-3 for the Orioles. And Talamatzik will come on and try to close this out. 1 earned run in 1 inning this season. Now, if I'm doing the math, that's a 9 ERA, not a 9.90, but I wasn't great at math.
I think they were showing his numbers with Atlanta last year.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Joe.
And you got those nice blue glasses on, too.
Blue frames, Joe.
Yes. Okay, correct.
I don't want people to think I'm Bono. One and one. Mullins 0 for 3. 1-2. Yankees love what they saw in spring training from Matzik. Fought through an injury and was just activated a couple of days ago, or last week. So they're finding spots for him to get his footing, but velocity is there. He's gone through a lot injury-wise. He battled the yips in his career as well.
Pretty good separation between his fastball and that breaker ball, Tony, about 10 miles an hour. Lefty's throwing 95.
Yes.
They don't fall off trees.
He had some good years in Atlanta.
Yes, he did.
Best year, 2021.
And there's a walk to Mullins. Let's check up the upcoming schedule brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers. One more game against the Orioles. Please mark that that's on Prime tomorrow. Thursday is an off day. Then a homestand. 3 against Tampa Bay, 3 against San Diego. Another off day, and then they head west. They'll see what Sacramento's all about. Maverick Handley struck out in his major league debut in the 6th. One and 0. Two and 0.
Automatic strike 20 years ago.
Yes,
nowadays, these umpires are worried about how they're graded so much more.
Well, and the other thing is that grade determines who works the playoff.
Yes.
And it's really important.
Play it straight up, no matter what the scoreboard says. They used to umpire the scoreboard a little bit more. 15-2, that's a strike.
There's a huge incentive for them to be good all the time. Not to expand the zone in games like this.
2-2. Hey, we haven't even looked at Ryan Addison today. He is pitcher friendly in a 15-2 game. 9th big league season.
More low strikes, too.
The latest umpire scouting report ever. Swing and a miss. Hanley down on strikes. Well, you know what's coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame. Bob, Jack, and John Flaherty. Meredith has all the interviews from the clubhouse. We'll hear from Aaron Boone. The whole shebang. You know the deal. That's coming up after the final out. There's Jackson Holiday. That one's lined into center field. It's a base hit for the 21-year-old. Mullins is going to go to third. The throw all the way to third. And that allows Holiday to go to second.
Yeah, keep playing hard if you're the Baltimore Orioles. Don't just go station to station. And he hits this line drive up the middle. And that's one thing Holiday has done a really good job of, staying up the middle and going the other way. Power numbers aren't there this year, but his approach has been straight up the middle, and it's worked fairly well for him. He was out early today bunting. There were a number of Orioles out early bunting today, but this is not a game that you would do it in.
Did you find it a little odd that Grisham threw to third there?
Yes, keep the double play in order. Yeah.
Also, it's 15-2. But if he keeps leading off on home runs, they'll let him do that.
Yes, sure. Keep running them balls down in center field. He's got a pretty good arm, too. But this is a pretty athletic Oriole team. That most of their position players run pretty well. Even this big first baseman DH.
Here's Mountcastle. He's 0 for 3. Struggled of late. 6 for his last 52. In his last 17 games.
Yeah, that's tough to go through when you're going through it as a hitter. It's one thing if you go through it and your team is winning, but it's another thing when your team is really struggling and you feel a big responsibility that you're letting people down.
And a strike.
A lot of good things happen in this game, but the one thing we're going to have to wait and see that's the negative is Jazz Chisholm's injury, obviously, and how severe it is. Meredith will be all over it, but that becomes a big storyline.
And I don't think you're really going to know until he wakes up tomorrow morning how he feels.
Fly ball. Grisham tagging Mullins, and the throw knocked down by Escara, so a sac fly from Mountcastle. And now it's 15-3. That was Kerstad. He'd come in the blowout. Pitch upstairs. Upstairs. 2-0 on Laureano.
Got to go back all the way to 2009 when Maztec was a first-round pick by the Rockies out of high school. He's always had good stuff. The question has been control. Really, his whole career is getting the ball over the plate.
3-1 on Laureano.
Maztec, you know, it's hard to be a first-round draft pick out of high school. A lot of teams shy away from that. He's always had a big-time left-handed arm.
It's hard to be a pitcher in Colorado, especially as a young pitcher.
And he walks Laureano, and the game continues. Seven big league season. Won a world championship, was a big part of it with the Braves in 2021. Good ERA over his career, 3.72.
Pretty good strikeout rate too, and a low batting average. I mean, you're right, Michael, he was a big part of their bullpen.
High fly ball. Left field, Bellinger back. Ball game over. Yankees win 15-3. 6 home runs by the Yankees, 4 of them in the first inning, and they never look back. Carlos Rodon picks up another win. The Yankees even the series at a game apiece.
It's a feel-good story for a lot of guys on the offensive side. Judge keep on keeping on. Ben Rice back on track. All the homers. Rodon, fantastic.
Bellinger had a good night. Ian Hamilton threw the ball really well, where he didn't throw many pitches in a 2-inning stint. Only 15 pitches to get 6 outs, and he had 3 strikeouts.
Well, the Yankees will celebrate this one after losing yesterday 4-3. They blow up the Orioles today 15-3. Tomorrow's the rubber game. We'll come back with awards in the postgame. Time for the Cadillac drives of the game.
Well, he hits a changeup. Ben Rice hits his changeup off of Kyle Gibson in the first inning to give the Yankees a 3-0 lead. So Kyle Gibson says, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to try this hook. Ben Rice hits this one out, this one even further than the first. You see the excitement and the love and the jubilation that everyone has for him. It's great.
So nice. He did it twice. 15-19-0 for the Yanks, 3-3-3 for the Orioles. It took 3 hours or 3 minutes fewer than 3 hours. Carlos Rodon gets the win. Kyle Gibson takes the loss. Yankees have 6 home runs, 4 in the first inning. Coming up on the Yes Network, stay tuned for the WB Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, and John Flaherty. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and the executive producer of the Yes Network, is Jared Ames Boschnack. Join us again tomorrow as the Yankees finish this series at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Coverage begins at 6 on Prime, with first pitch coming shortly after 6:30. Again, the final score, Yankees 15 and the Orioles 3. For David Cohn, Joe Girardi, and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay saying see ya from Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Now let's go to Bob Lorenz, Jack Curry, and John Flaherty standing by in our Yes Network studios with the postgame show.
Hey, everybody, it's great to have you with us here on the W.B. Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, Jack Curry with you. Middle game of this 3-game series, and it was all Yankees, 15-3, as they win this one and even the series at a game apiece. On the pregame tonight, Flash, you said on paper this game favors the Yankees. Well, they took that paper early and lit fire to it. Let's get your Hyundai opening comment.
Yeah, what I meant by that, it looked good for Carlos Rodon, the left-handed pitcher, against the lineup for Baltimore. Baltimore's really struggled against lefties. That part of it played out. I didn't quite see the offensive explosion that the Yankees would have tonight, especially in the first inning, setting the tone. But guys, you hear major league players talk all the time about the grind of a major league season. This is one of those games after the 4th inning. Everybody in the dugout can relax. You know you're going to win the game. The only question mark, Carlos Rodon was throwing the ball so well, would he do something magical tonight?
Yeah, perfect for 5 innings. He eventually gave up a walk and a hit and a run, but he was terrific. The fastball was excellent, but the slider and the changeup came along for the ride as well. The Orioles were 0 for 11 against those pitches. So you talk about the pursuit of perfection. We always think about that from a pitching standpoint. But how about the first 3 batters of the game hitting home runs? That's perfection. And then the 5th batter of the game in Bellinger also hitting a home run. So 4 homers in the first inning. The second time the Yankees have done it this season. Just astounding.
First one coming on the second pitch of the game. Let's get to that turning point of the first inning. Turning point of the game brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Jack, you talked to Grisham about breaking down his swing and how he's locked in, and he showed it right from the jump tonight.
One thing he's been doing this year, guys, is pulling the ball more often. I meant to say that on the pregame, I promise, and then he did it on the second pitch of the game on a cutter from Gibson. It's his 8th home run of the season. He only had 9 last year. He's pulling the ball at a 28% rate, 20 last year.
Then Aaron Judge wasted no time.
Yeah, 91 miles an hour from Gibson up in the zone. And, you know, Aaron Judge has been getting plenty of hits. Hasn't had that home run barrage. Well, that's home run number 9. Yankees up 2-0.
Up next, step up to the plate, Ben Rice.
He is behind Aaron Judge tonight, and he's going to do this to the Gibson changeup. Drills it over the tall scoreboard. 3rd homer of the inning. The Yankees are up 3-0, 5 pitches into the game.
And then after a Paul Goldschmidt groundout, dig in Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, he gets an elevated fastball up and in. That's a really good sign for him. Not only clearing that out on the inside half, getting the baseball up in the air. He hasn't been doing that to the right side. His 4th home run of the year. Yankees up 4-0.
What a job by the offense tonight. 19-hit attack, 15 runs scored. First team, as Jack mentioned, in Major League history to lead off 2 games with 3 home runs in the same season. 11th time in Major League history a team led off the game with 3 home runs, and now 51 home runs for the Yanks this season, most through April in franchise history. Right after the game, Meredith Morakovitz talked to Ben Rice on the field.
Ben, this offense struck early and often after Grisham and Judge go back-to-back there in the first inning. Do you step to the plate and think to yourself, I've got next?
Yeah, it might have crossed my mind, I'm not going to lie, but you can't go up there thinking like that. You just got to simplify everything, just look to make some hard contact, and that was my approach.
Can you describe the excitement in that dugout when Bellinger hits 1-2 in that inning?
Oh, it was just electric, yeah. I mean, everyone was just so excited. I mean, no better way to start a game.
On a night where you guys just continue to tack on, how much of it is contagious from one guy to another in the lineup?
Absolutely. I mean, and when everyone's clicking like that, I mean, it's a fun thing to watch. And same thing with Los out there doing his thing on the mound, taking the pressure off of us. I mean, it just makes it that much better.
You mentioned Carlos. What do you think the job he's done overall? Last 3 starts in particular of really trying to stabilize this rotation for you guys.
Yeah, he's been dialed. I mean, and like I said, it just takes the pressure off us. When we know he's on the mound, it eases up on us a little bit, and we know we can just go out there and just do our job.
2 home runs, a single as well, other hard contact. Are you dialed as well at the plate?
Yeah, we're feeling all right. We're feeling all right.
Ben, appreciate the time.
Thanks.
Send it back to you.
All right, Meredith, thank you. As we talk about your optimum player of the game in Ben Rice, we'll start in that first inning. And again, following Grisham and Judge, he has makes it the back-to-back-to-back homers. And Knocks this one high over that wall and right. So on the changeup, 3 different pitches from Gibson, all taken out of the ballpark. But Flash, his next at bat came in the second inning.
Yeah, we talked about Gibson doesn't overwhelm you with velocity, so you can kind of sit back and recognize the pitch. That's a curveball at 79. That is just really a get-me-over curveball. Ben Rice takes advantage of that. 8th of the year for Rice, a career high.
And then Jack, his next at bat comes in the 4th.
Yeah, it's a 1-1 count, and he's going to drive this pitch into right field for another base hit, his 3rd base hit of the game. We talked about the Yankee lineup on the pregame, and we noticed the subtle change that suddenly it was Rice lodged behind Judge in the lineup. Bellinger moved down a couple of spots. And when you have this kind of production, I would expect to see Rice behind Judge again, because Aaron Boone saw what this team was able to do against Gibson and the rest of those Orioles pitchers. But I keep mentioning this, and I think it deserves to be mentioned again. Rice, at the start of spring training, there wasn't a guaranteed roster spot for him. Stanton's injury gets reported, the elbow injuries that he's still dealing with, and we saw Rice explode in spring training, and that explosion has just continued.
Yeah, and we just saw him go through a little bit of lull when he had the fastball that hit his back elbow, but it looked like he got everything straightened out tonight. One of these games as a hitter where you get locked back in again. And just think about this. We're not even out of the month of April. He has a career high in home runs for 8 home runs, and you start dreaming what this kid could do during a full season if he stays healthy. Obviously, Stanton's going to come back. Things are going to get interesting. But if you would have told me in spring training this guy would have 8 home runs hitting in the middle of your lineup, I probably wouldn't have believed it. He's earned his playing time, but you start dreaming this could be a left-handed hitter, hit a lot of home runs for the Yankees.
I want to ask you a quick follow-up. If we go back to last night's game, Yankees scored 3 late to make it a 1-run game. They ended up losing that game, but they started getting things going. And when you have a night like tonight where you start off like that, what's the vibe in the dugout?
Well, I mean, last night I think they felt like they gave one away, right? They felt like there were a lot of runners on base that they didn't cash in. They made a little push late. But we looked at this series, and Jack talked about it before last night's game, kind of making a statement saying, listen, we're the top of the American League East. You guys are struggling, and we're going to prove it over the next 3 games. Obviously, 4 out of the first hitters hitting home runs, setting the tone. And again, I'm going to mention that these are the nights you relish as a major league player, because you can relax. You can have fun. Usually you're grinding for 9 innings every night. By the 4th inning, it was a chill vibe in that dugout, just looking at Carlos Rodon, who did not let the score of the game affect him. He pitched to his game plan. He didn't give in to the scoreboard. He pitched aggressively. And again, this guy's on a roll.
Yeah, Rodon did a terrific job on the pitching side, and we're going to get to that in one moment. But just one last thought on the offensive side, John, because I want to give you some credit. We talked about Gibson. He's made 315 starts since 2017, the most of anyone in MLB. But with what he has, you said that there would probably be a lot of eager Yankee hitters, knowing that this is not a guy who was going to go out there and overwhelm them. What weapons did he have to retire the Yankees? And we saw in that first inning, it was clear, not many.
And he didn't have many weapons. You also have to be fair to him. He was rushed probably through a rehab, right? He probably wasn't built up. But again, I go back to being a major league hitter, and you look at every series that you're playing, and you look at the pitching matchups. Yankees circled this one tonight and said, this is a guy, he's not going to overwhelm you with his stuff. We have to take advantage, and clearly they did that tonight.
And as for Carlos Rodon, he kind of keeps redefining who he is as a Yankee. We talked about this on the pregame, came in with 2 straight performances, allowing no earned runs. Let's get to our pitching decisions presented by Sage. And Jack, he got off to a roll early tonight in his 7th start of the season.
Yeah, Mullins is having a terrific season for the Orioles, but if you're Rodon, you walk to the mound with a 5-run lead, challenge him. And he does. He gets him with a fastball for his first K of the night. Bottom of the 2nd, Urias, that's a back foot slider. He gets him to end the 2nd. Then in the 3rd, Rivera comes up, and it's a changeup. You know, noticing a pattern here. Fastball, slider, changeup. Mateo is the next hitter. One more back foot slider.
We're going to go to the bottom of the 4th, and here comes Mullins again. He's going to look at the slider, perfectly located down and away for strike 3. Here comes Rushman. He's going to hit this ball hard, the hardest ball that was hit off of Rodon the whole night, but he comes up with it and is able to make the out. Bottom of the 5th, Ryan Mountcastle. He's going to go to that changeup again, Jack. It was a weapon for him tonight.
He's moving along so well, Jack. He had a perfect game going there into the 6th.
Yeah, then he walked a batter, and then Mateo takes this fastball high off the scoreboard in right field. Judge is going to retrieve it. That ends the no-hitter, but still, Masterful effort by Rodon.
Later in that inning, Maverick Handley in his major league debut strikes out swinging on a fastball. So Rodon tonight, 6+ innings, just 2 hits, 2 runs allowed. He threw 91 pitches, 57 strikes. This is where he ranks in the American League, first in opponent average against and first in strikeouts, as he had 7 more tonight. But you look at his last 3 starts and the body of work, just the 2 runs allowed, and everything, every one of his pitches just seems to be getting better.
You know, and I said on our pregame, something to pay attention to. His last 2 outings, how brilliant they have been, but he had struggled in the first inning, and there has been some traffic. Tonight, no issue from the first pitch of the game, and I give Carlos a lot of credit. I have caught a lot of pitchers who get a lot of run support. You completely change the game plan, Jack, and to your point, you say, I'm just going to challenge with fastballs. He did not do that tonight. It was a complete mix of all of his pitches, both sides of the plate, changeups, sinkers, sliders, high fastballs. He didn't change a thing and executed beautifully.
No, I think they had a game plan, both he and Wells and Matt Blake and the rest of the Yankees pitching folks who game planned before the game, and he stuck with that. But again, there was an aggressiveness about Rodon. There was an attack mode that he was in. And I'm sure he knew that he had a perfect game going. You head into there in the 6th inning. The scoreboard doesn't matter for any other reason other than the 0 that was in the hit column by the Orioles. The Yankees had this game won by then. Rodon finally does lose the perfect game, lose the no-hitter, but the Yankees will sort of put that to the side and talk about who he has been across these last 3 games, because you match him up with Fried at the top of that rotation right now, a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, so many good things happening for the Yankees tonight in a 15-3 win. When we come back on the W.B. Mason postgame, we'll hear from Aaron Boone and get clubhouse reaction as the Yanks even the series at a game apiece. Stick around.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is presented by WB Mason. Get fast free delivery of food service products you need at prices you'll love. Request your free catalog today at WBMason.com. The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Hyundai dealers. There's never been a better time to test drive that Hyundai you've always wanted. Visit HyundaiUSA.com today.
Good to have you back on the postgame. Big night for the Yankees. We mentioned the offense, 15 runs, 7 of the 9 innings the Yankees scored, and 7 players with multi-hit games, and they all backed up Carlos Rodon in another terrific performance. Let's hear from Aaron Boone now in the manager's report, brought to you by Toyota.
Aaron, how do you wrap your head around that offensive output? 15 runs scored, 19 hits, 6 home runs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what a performance. You know, I thought opening day, 3 homers, 3 pitches. That I hadn't seen that, and then to go 4 and 5. I mean, yeah, just a great job by everyone. Just obviously putting together a big night.
What are you thinking in that first inning as that is unfolding the way that it did?
Keep going, keep pushing. You never know in this game, and but just it was fun to watch. A lot of balls, obviously, really squared up.
Nice to see Bellinger in particular get a hold of one there in that first.
Yeah, definitely. Felt like he had good at-bats yesterday, and then more good at-bats today. So it's good to see.
When you put up that many runs there in that first, how much does that allow Carlos Rodon to just kind of put his head down and go to work?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it's a little bit of that, but it's also probably a little bit of weird. You know, like you don't want to, you know, change anything really. You know, your job's to go out there and put up zeros, and I thought he had electric stuff tonight. Again, had everything going. The fastball was really crispy, and you know, just a really good job by him.
You guys are the first team with 3 homers to start a game twice in a season. Is that hard to believe, just given how long the game's existed?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I haven't seen any, obviously, I guess I definitely haven't seen anything like it. So, yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around that.
Aaron, perhaps a
Jazz. He seems to be doing good. I mean, but, you know, he's definitely got something going on with the oblique. So we're going to hold off. He'll get testing back in New York on the off day. he's in pretty good spirits. He just told me I'm fine, so I don't know about that, but we'll see what we have. But we're not going to do anything immediately.
Which side was it?
Right.
And when you say testing, MRI, I'm assuming?
I'm sure it'll be MRI and everything, yeah.
Do you fear that this still could be an IL?
A little bit. Again, he's, he says he feels good, and but we'll see.
You see something like that in that first inning. Was there any kind of approach they had specifically against him or not?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, we have a little bit of familiarity with Gibby. Obviously been a successful pitcher in this league for a long time, but knowing it's also his first start, I think it's been a while since he threw, though, since his last rehab outing, or I guess he was on option. So you never quite know. His first one out of the year, but there's some familiarity with a lot of our guys just having faced him some over the years.
Rodon spears that ball in the fourth, and Volpe makes that play up the middle there. Are you thinking maybe it's fate that this really could be a special night here? I know it's still early, but...
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we just had that with Max, obviously, about 10 days ago or so. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, it's still pretty early at that point, and all I knew is I thought he was throwing the ball incredibly well. So I thought, it might have been about as electric stuff as he has had all year. Kind of feel like he had a little bit of everything going. The fastball was really good.
You guys went out and looked at Jazz when it was 1-1, and then he hit the double/triple, whatever, and then Louis signaled to you guys right away after Jazz slid into third. What did he see, or did Jazz tell him something after sliding?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was, but I saw the signal, and that's when we went out there and obviously made the change.
All right, so let's talk about a variety of things. He talked about a ton of offense, about Carlos Rodon not allowing any offense, really. Let's start with that offense where, again, Jack, 7 of 9 players had multi-hit games, and they scored in 7 of 9 innings.
The Yankees hit home runs, they win, and they're hitting home runs at a better pace than anyone in Major League Baseball. They now have a Major League best 51 home runs, but 4 players have combined for 32 of those, it being Judge, Grisham, Rice, and Jazz Chisholm. And if I told you Judge was at the top of the Yankee list, you would expect that. But Rice and Grisham sitting there with 8 at the end of April, I think for the Yankees, that has to be something that they're so thrilled about. Because when you want to have a special season, you have to get the performances you expect from the great players, but you have to get some unexpected performances as well. And I would put Grisham and Rice under the unexpected category so far.
Yeah, you're going to go offense. I'm going to talk about pitching. Kind of surprised me that Aaron Boone said this was maybe Carlos Rodon's best stuff that he's had all year. That is quite a statement for the way that Carlos has thrown the ball from the first start. I know the numbers weren't great. We've already talked about giving up home runs, but his stuff has been as good as it's been all year long. For him to say tonight he thought it was his best, that's a bold statement for me, because I think Carlos all year long has had outstanding stuff.
Yeah, 3 straight starts. There's no doubt about that. We got to take a break. We got more coming up. Full game highlights. Jazz Chisholm, how's he feeling? We're going to find out when we hear from him as well, so stick around.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer today. The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center.
Wednesday morning, watch Yankees minor league baseball on Yes as the High A Hudson Valley Renegades take on the Jersey Shore Blue Claws. Tune in as 2024 first-round pick Ben Hess, the Yankees' #3 prospect, gets the start. Coverage starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. Let's get to our Game 2 highlights from Camden Yards, courtesy of your local Ford stores. And it began with Trent Grisham. Second pitch he's going to see from Kyle Gibson is going to lead to his 8th home run of the season. He is really settling into that leadoff role, but he's getting his reps. Hammers that one, just looks down, no doubt about it. And Yanks quickly on the board, 1-0. And then coming up next, Jack, was Aaron Judge.
The Yankees were clearly going up with a plan that they were going to be aggressive and swing early against Gibson. That sinker bends inside a little bit, and then Judge blasted the opposite way. His 9th homer of the season. It's 2-0 Yankees.
And it was not only aggressive, but just hard contact early on.
Yeah, here's Ben Rice. This is going to be an 0-1 changeup, and that's going to end up just over the wall in right center field for Ben Rice. His 7th home run of the season. Yankees up 3-0. A couple of batters later, Cody Bellinger, who has been a struggling hitter lately. Well, he's not going to struggle on this swing. A 1-1 fastball up and in, able to beat him to the spot. That's going to be his 3rd home run of the year. The Yankees 4th in the inning, and they lead 4-0, and a lot of reasons to smile in that dugout.
They were going to get one more in that inning. 2 batters later with a runner on 3rd, and Anthony Volpe is up, and we've seen his bat starting to get hot. Drives a sweeper into left field. Peraza will score. It's an RBI double for Volpe, and the Yankees take a 5-0 lead. Bottom of the first, how about we get a little nice defense?
Yeah, 2 outs. Rodon trying to get out of the inning. Gunnar Henderson's at the plate. He hits this sinking liner to right field. Aaron Judge takes a couple of steps forward and pulls it up off the grass for the 3rd out of the inning, doing it on both sides of the ball.
Everything clicking for the Yanks as we go to the top of the 2nd. Ben Rice in his 2nd at bat. And he's going to get a curveball, and that one is gone as well, just hanging over the plate. 2nd homer of the game gives the Yanks a 6-0 lead, and then they tack on more in the 4th.
Yeah, a couple of runners on in the 4th inning. Here's Paul Goldschmidt with 2 outs. It's what he's done all year long. Great 2-strike hitter, drives it right back up the middle. Aaron Judge is going to score from second base. Bombers lead 7-0.
Mentioned Peraza in the game when Jazz Chisholm Jr. had to leave, and he cashes in 2 batters later.
Yeah, it's a sinker that's up. He is able to drive it into center field to knock in a couple of runs, boost the lead to 9-0. If Chisholm is out, Peraza's going to see a lot more playing time.
We'll talk about that in a second. Top of the 5th, bases loaded again. Goldschmidt driving that sweeper to left field. It's a single, a runner scores, and the Yanks have the double-digit lead. It's 10-0, and then Bellinger is the next batter. Again, looks good in that 5-hole tonight. Drives the cutter to right field. It's going to be an RBI double as it goes towards the corner. 2 runners score, and the Yanks have a 12-0 lead. Bottom of the 6th, it was still Rodon in there, still looking good. With a runner on, though, gets a 4-seam fastball here in a 12-1 game to get Maverick Handley, who took over for Adley Rushman in this blowout. And then 9th inning, how about one more long ball?
Yeah, our buddy Ken Singleton always said there's one guy that wants to join the party. Well, that guy tonight was Austin Wells. This is going to be a deep fly ball, left center field, the newly configured Camden yards, and Austin Wells with his 5th home run of the year. Yankees lead 15-2 at that point.
Everything upside for the Yanks. 15 runs on 19 hits in this one as they go 8 for 20 with runners in scoring position. The only downside, Jazz Chisholm Jr. hurt his oblique in this one. Let's hear from Chisholm about how he feels.
Jazz, what exactly happened?
I mean, I just felt a little discomfort, and I didn't want to push it just in case it could get worse. So I just came out.
Where exactly are you feeling? You said oblique. They announced flank. How would you describe it?
I mean, it is in the flank. It really is in my flank. So, but yeah, it's the same spot, oblique. It's if you look at a cow, that's their oblique, I guess.
Are you, in all seriousness, are you concerned about it? You said you're going to go for more testing when you get back to New York.
I'm really not as concerned as everybody else. I feel pretty good. I've torn my oblique before, so I know it's not like torn or anything. I could use the bathroom. I could cough without any pain or anything like that. It was just, to be cautious, not to try and overdo it.
You wound up sliding into third base there. Any second guessing in staying in and having to lay out there?
No, it was more of like after I slid into third base, Louis told me right off the rip, like, hey, I don't want you to keep going. Like, even though they told me that was my best swing I've ever taken. But, it was just no time to risk it. It's April. We still got a lot of baseball left. I'd rather take two to 3 days off than six weeks, So, I mean, I think it was a smart idea. I trust my coaches. I trust everybody else, everyone in here. So they tell me to just come out and go get it checked on. That's what I'm going to do.
Usually just a few days. So are you not concerned about the possibility?
I'm not concerned about it. Like I said, I feel pretty good. I mean, I kind of know my body, I kind of guess these things right most of the time. Like, I would know if I'm, like, super in pain or if my stuff is messed up like that, you know, so.
Who came up with flank?
Maybe me. I don't know.
Between flank and oblique.
It's no different at all. It's the same thing. So I just like flank, yeah.
Describe that power surge in the first inning.
Oh, man, it was sick. You know, watching all of them go, especially Cody, you know, I know he's been pretty unlucky so far this season, so to see him go out there and have a day like that, it's amazing. I don't have to talk about Ben Rice. You guys know I like that guy.
When did you first feel something? Was it after the
first swing? It was the first swing. The first swing.
Because after the second pitch, you were kind of spinning around there, and then he looked at you.
No, I took a swing on the first pitch, and I felt it a little bit, and I was like, I took a practice swing, and it didn't feel like anything. And then I just was like, you know what? After I hit the triple, and I was like, it's still kind of like uncomfortable. I was like, you know, let's try to just go in and get ready for tomorrow or Friday, you know. So for me, I'm ready to go, you know. I'm always ready to go.
Before tonight, did you know the flank was a muscle in your body?
Me? I mean, yes. And no. You know what I mean? Like, I know flank was somewhere, but I didn't know what it was, you know, at first. I went and looked it up, and I was like, yeah, I can use that.
So Chisholm saying he thinks it might be 2 to 3 days, but no matter how long it is, Jack, as you mentioned, Oswald Peraza probably going to get some more reps right now.
Yeah, I think there's a chance Peraza will get some playing time as the Yankees assess what's going to happen with Chisholm. The Yankees have played 30 games. Their starting second baseman for all 30 games has been Jazz Chisholm. So if he does have to miss some time, we will see a new starting second baseman for the first time all season. I think it's smart with an off day on Thursday. The Yankees are being cautious, and they will test Chisholm and see what it yields. Based on how chipper he was in that interview, I would say that that's a positive sign, but joviality and chipperness is not anything that you're going to find in a medical dictionary. We'll have to see what the tests yield.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We got more coming up here on the W.B. Mason postgame. Throwing the spotlight back on Carlos Rodon and the outing that he had. We'll hear from him. Did he think he had his best stuff? We'll find out after this.
Post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Learn more at genesis.com.
They will face this veteran right-hander, Kyle Gibson. Yankees are doing damage against him in his career.
High fly ball, right field and deep. Laureano turns, looks. See ya, he's done it again. Red hot Trent Grisham. Here's Aaron Judge. Back, track, wall. See ya. Yankees open up with back-to-back blast. Ben Rice trying to make it 3 in a row. Turning, looking. See ya. So back-to-back by the Yankees.
Keep batting, boys. Go ahead.
Here's Bellinger. High drive, right field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run for Bellinger. 4 bombs by the Yankees.
Has this ever happened before? 4? The first inning?
Yeah, I think in game 2.
Memorable moments by Prevagen, made for your brain, and so many memorable moments in this one. Aaron Judge goes 2 for 3, ups his average to 414, and his on-base streak to 26 games. Trent Grisham with his 3rd leadoff homer of the season. Ben Rice, his 2nd career multi-homer game. Austin Wells now 5 extra base hits in his last 5, and Anthony Volpe batting .400 over his last 5. All of that backing Carlos Rodon, who wins his 3rd consecutive start. Let's hear from him in our Genesis Sounds of the Game.
Aaron just said he thought that's the most electric stuff you've had so far this season. How do you assess your stuff tonight?
I mean, it's easy when the boys, I think they put up 5 runs in the first. I just go out there, and I think Austin and I just go attack the zone and just get outs because we have such a nice lead that we can just cruise and attack hitters. And
just get outs.
You typically are aggressive when you're on the mound, but do you feel like you can even take it up another notch knowing that you have that type of cushion to work with?
You're just going to pour it in, just get outs as quick as we can, and then get the boys back in the dugout so they can score some more runs.
What's going through your mind as you're kind of watching that first inning unfold?
It's taken a while. I hadn't thrown a pitch in a while, but I mean, obviously happy with the results. But no, man, I mean, they're swinging it great right now.
Carlos, what do you feel like's been the difference for you in these past 3 outings?
Just kind of not giving in to hitters and just attacking, getting ahead. I think Austin and everybody else that's caught. I mean, JC they've been so great with me, just knowing what I need to feature, on the mound. And I mean, defensively, once again, I mean, Volpe at short, we make a bunch of great plays and just keep guys off the base path and just stay aggressive. I mean, that's it.
You did have some long waits in the dugout. Did you have to do anything in between?
Yeah, I usually do. I'm just throwing weighted balls down in the tunnel just to stay warm. That's kind of what I do.
Were you thinking at all about the bid that you had going on?
I knew it was there. It's just, once again, big lead, just try to attack the zone. So it's kind of in the back of your head, but you just keep going.
What did you think of Volpe's play?
That was a heck of a play. I mean, ball up to the middle to his backhand, or was it to his backhand? He dives to the right, to his left. Yeah, to his left. Sorry, I'm left-handed. I'm thinking the wrong glove. So his forehand, and then he gets up and throws a speedy runner out. I mean, another great play. I mean, you see it all month long. I mean, all last year, the year before that. I mean, he's got, 2 Gold Gloves now? I mean, so, looking to get another, I guess.
Well, you see Rodon with 4 wins this season, 3 in his last 3 starts in which he has an ERA of 0.95. He struck out 24, walked just 7, and an opponent average against over that span of just 125. I know you're a big body language guy. You could see it tonight on a couple of his strikeouts, right, where he just walked off the mound. He knew it was a done deal. But also the fact that he not only attacked, but he still attacked in the zone.
I'm glad you bring up the word attack. That jumped out to me listening to him. But he's not just attacking where you would think 2 years ago, I'm attacking with my fastball and that's it. He attacked with all 4 of his pitches tonight. And I was actually thinking during the game, this is a perfect opportunity if you have a starting pitcher who needs to work on a pitch, if you're catching, to try to incorporate it a little bit more. The whole problem is that Carlos Rodon doesn't need to work on anything. He's got everything locked in right now, Jack. So for Austin Wells behind the plate, he could put down any sign at any count. And I think that Carlos Rodon is going through one of those stretches as a starting pitcher. Enjoy it, because he's got all of his weapons. There's going to be a time down the road where it's going to be a struggle, and he's got to look back on these outings and remember what it felt like.
I was going to say, when things are going well, you can give short answers as he did, because there's not a ton of things to say. I'm attacking, I'm getting ahead in the count, my defense is helping me out, there are runs on the scoreboard. I want to get off the mound so they can go and hit again and put some more runs on the scoreboard. And what I think the Yankees should like about that interview right there from Carlos Rodon, they love his pitching. I'm not saying they evaluate his interviews. It was routine. This is expected. He expects that he should go out there and do that. And if you go back to his first year with the Yankees, that wasn't the case. I think he feels much more comfortable and much more like a top end of the rotation pitcher now.
All right, we'll take a break. You mentioned the good defense behind him. We'll take a look at some of that Yankees defense. One on a play and right by Aaron Judge. We'll hear from the captain coming up as well, so stick around.
Post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by your local Kia dealers. Visit kia.com to discover movement that inspires.
Well, the Yankees return to Prime tomorrow to take on the Orioles in the series finale in Baltimore. Don't miss a minute of the action beginning at 6 o'clock only on Prime, with post-game coverage on Yes immediately after. Now, some nice defense in Game 2 tonight by the Yankees. Field coverage presented by Liberty Mutual. And it began in the bottom of the first. Nobody on, 2 outs. Gunnar Henderson, hot shot to right. And we showed you this before. Aaron Judge charging, diving, making the catch. They thought they might take a little look at it, but it was clearly in the glove. So Carlos Rodon loving that good defense early in this one, but there was a lot more to come, including bottom of the second.
Yeah, Laureano hits a 106-mile-per-hour bullet to the left side. Look at what Volpe does, moving to make the play, spinning, And realizing I could skip this one over here. I got Goldschmidt on the other end. He gets the out.
And then how about bottom of the fourth? You just catch it yourself.
Well, we saw Aaron Judge make a nice play. Volpe make a nice play. How about Carlos Rodon? The hot shot off of Adley Rutschman's bat. Right back up the middle. Rodon able to come up with it clean, helping his own cause.
And then still a perfect game going bottom of the fifth in this gem.
And Volpe's going to victimize Laureano again. This is even more impressive as he goes up the middle, moves to his left, dives to make the play, hops up quickly, sets his feet, and a true throw to get a speedy runner in Laureano.
All right, so everything going well defensively. Again, Carlos Rodon wins his third straight, and everybody getting involved, not only on defense like Aaron Judge, but offensively as well. And it all began in that first inning when they hit 4 home runs. Let's hear from Aaron Judge with the media about that as they got it going right from first pitch.
It really starts with Grish. You know, Grish got it going for us. He set the tone for us early on, and you know, when he goes up there and takes a couple tough pitches and, you know, sends one to Utah Street, it's pretty impressive and gets you going. So it's just kind of like, hey, I got to go up there and try to do my job. It kind of takes a little weight off everybody's shoulder once, you know, Grish goes out there and does that, which he's done twice now. So it was good. He started that.
At the time Bellinger hits one, just what's going through your mind as that inning is unfolding?
Just we got to keep this going. It's a long game. You know, just impressive at bats all up and down the first inning. You know, to see Bellinger get one there, which was big time, and then him to get another knock later in the game. It's just good to see some of those guys rolling. Volpe had a great game. You know, seeing Wellesley there late, you know, get an Oppo homer. It's just we did a great job because you can kind of fade off after the first inning and you score 6 and kind of be like, all right, you score 5, the game's set. But you know, this team, they kept the pedal to the metal.
This stretch for Rodon dominating, is this about as good as you've seen him? I know he's pitched some good games the last few years, but recently he's had some real dominating starts.
Yeah, this is good, and especially tonight. I felt like he worked his fastball command. I think that's the biggest thing. When he has fastball command, he was working the sinker and the four-seamer well. That just allows him to open up that changeup and slider to both sides of the plate. So it was impressive, man. He looked like a man on a mission there just from the jump. And I think it helps, too, when you get a couple of runs there in the first. But you know, even if we didn't score, you know, 5, 6 runs there in the first 2 innings, I think he still was going to go out there and do something special.
Aaron, when you watch Volpe play shortstop, what jumps out at you?
Just the reads. He's able to, you know, he gets to certain balls that as an outfielder I'm running in, you know, going to back up, and he's snagging it and, you know, not only making, you know, half a good play, he's making a full good play, you know, just to stop the balls, you know, that's half a good play, but he finished it by making a great throw, and it's something new every series. I feel like he's making another diving play that, you know, you don't see. You know, you only see it on SportsCenter and, you know, top 10 plays, so it's impressive.
Team leading homers for like 45 seconds. You just didn't want to give him like an inning.
Yeah, I can't let him have that. I can't let him have that. So it was fun. You know, I'm happy he gave us a lead, and we were tied for a second, but we had to take that back for a second.
Great end result for the Yanks. Terrific first month for Aaron Judge, who goes into the final day of April tomorrow, batting .412, flash 10-game hitting streak, 26-game on-base streak, and we just keep mentioning him with the greats in Yankees history and Major League history.
I mean, he's earned it with the way he's performed the first month of the year, and Aaron Boone was talking before the game saying, I don't even think he's hit his offensive stride yet, and driving a ball the other way, that's classic Aaron Judge with his 9th home run of the year. So you're kind of watching his greatness every day, and you're watching him get base hits and doubles, but we know it's only a matter of time before he goes on one of these home run barrages, Jack.
Yeah, and fittingly it happened against the Orioles tonight because since 2017 he's got 46 home runs against the Orioles. We talked about how he can do it defensively, but the 400 number sticks out because no matter how some people analyze Judge, they're always going to think about the power first. He's got the American League home run record with 62. Of course you're going to think about the power, but he's such a complete hitter. So to see him have such a high batting average at this point in the season, it just speaks to how smart he is at the plate, how selective he is. He's willing to take his walks. That's why that on-base streak just keeps growing and growing. He is not going to chase what pitchers want him to swing at.
All right, we were talking about defense, so we got to show you this one play from the Red Sox Sox Blue Jays game tonight. Check this out. Top of the fourth, Jarren Duran in deep center. Dalton Varsho and Flash there. And there's a problem here. Hang on.
No problem.
Wow. How about that?
Just imagine the panic when you go down on the warning track and then you come up with the backhand and then you got to play it cool at the end, right? Like, oh, I had this all the way.
You know what's funny, Jack? It looks like listen, I fell, but I had the right route, so I'm not worried about it. Just stick the glove out.
Well, I'm glad you came to me because I've got some breaking news. The Savannah Bananas have just made a trade with the Toronto Blue Jays. They want Dalton Varsho to be their center fielder for the rest of his life after making a play like that.
That was an unbelievable catch. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we come back here on the WB Mason postgame, we'll look ahead to Wednesday series finale. Carlos Carrasco on the mound. We'll talk about that coming up next.
The Yankees postgame show on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. All FanDuel customers can make every dinger on Tuesdays mean more with a profit boost from FanDuel.
Did you walk up to the plate there in that first inning with the intention to be aggressive early?
I mean, I walked up with the intention to be ready to hit, which is what I try to do every at bat.
In retrospect, what's it like to set the tone for an inning like that?
Yeah, it's cool to look back and say, oh, I got to start that off. But that was the guys behind me that really laid it on there.
What's going through your mind as you're watching the rest of that inning unfold there?
Just having a lot of fun, enjoying it really more than anything.
What did you think of Rodon overall tonight?
Five perfect was cool to play behind. All the offense was doing their thing, and everybody was rowdy about that. Just 12-0, but it was cool to look up there and see that he was just cruising, doing his thing.
You mentioned the 5 perfect. How much does that up the intensity on your end when you're playing defense?
Yeah, sometimes I think we had 7 no-hit the other night by somebody, and I couldn't remember. But I looked up and didn't even realize it and panicked a little bit. I was like, oh, I need to lock it in a little bit. But yeah, it's always cool to look up there. I mean, you know that they're cruising in the back of your mind, but to look up there and they have no hits, it just kind of intensifies it a little more.
Grisham and the Yanks hope they see that again on Wednesday for the final game of the series. It's a game that is on Prime, post-game coverage on Yes. It'll be Carlos Carrasco against lefty Cade Povich, who's pitching to an ERA of 5 in 5 starts. As for Carrasco, Jack, his last outing against Toronto, 5 shutout innings.
Yeah, he was solid, and against some of their better hitters, Guerrero, Santander, Springer, and Kirk, they were 0 for 7 against him, so he did a nice job of mixing his pitches up. Carlos Carrasco is honest about his stuff these days. He knows that he doesn't have the fastball that he once had, but if he can locate his pitches and do a good job of mixing them, keep batters off balance, he can give the Yankees those 5 innings, and that's really all they're asking for. With their bullpen, they're not asking Carrasco to do, for instance, what Rodon did tonight, take the game into the 7th.
Yeah, you think about the situation with the Yankees right now, rested bullpen. You have Thursday off. You have Carrasco out on the mound tomorrow night, and to Jack's point, you're looking for 5 innings out of him, keep the Yankees in the ball game. But the Yankees offensively, when you have somebody like Carrasco out on the mound, you feel a responsibility that he's maybe our 4th or 5th guy. We got to go out there and give him some run support like they did tonight. You don't expect 15 on the board, but you expect them to ride the momentum with tonight's game, put some runs on the board tomorrow, rested bullpen, a day off. It's probably going to be a bullpen-heavy night tomorrow night.
You could make the case that a game like this, so much offense, a perfect game for Carlos Rodon for a while, would be tough for a headline writer, but that's Jack's job. It's a Yes Press headline. What do the boys in the back got for you?
Bob, every night the boys in the back and I try to hit a home run. Tonight we go with Yankees imitate Babe in his birthplace. 6 homers help Bombers bury Baltimore.
It says 5 homers there.
Well, the boys in the back,
they're
oh boy,
tired?
It should be 6.
Okay.
No, the boys in the back are a little tired.
No free pizza. Yeah, they are a little tired. It was almost a 3-hour game, and every time they go over 3 hours, we lose them. Anyway, we'll see if that's your headline for tomorrow, if there's another Yes Press headline coming up tomorrow. And remember, our coverage begins on Prime starting at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock with the pregame. First pitch a little after 6:30, and then the post-game coverage on Yes. Big win for the Yanks, 15-3 as they even the series at a game apiece. Get Carlos Rodon his 3rd straight win. Have a great rest of your night and a great day Wednesday. We'll see you at 6 o'clock on Prime. Take care.